Welcome to the nest. What the fuck? Where'd you like anime? What motivates you to get out of the bed in the morning? Spite. Where's the truck? Oh shoot. I got you a sausage. Did one of you have a good time over here? I wanted a sausage.
Whoever my head lands on.
Ayo head.
Heyo head.
Heyo
I'm
head.
giving head today. Hello.
Head for head.
Head
Hello,
for head,
honey.
baby. Head for head. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me when to stop.
Stop. Oh my.
Should we do a second spin?
I'm very much enjoying the setting. I'm very much Ow. Did this cat really just tell me to get good? Chat, you're so mean. Ah, no!
This is fine.
Have
This is
fun.
fine. Oh, everybody's actually just dead. He's just gonna throw me for an hour. Eat shit and die. Damn it!
Oh, he angry. He just wants to play catch.
Oh, I just want out of the mosh pit, please.
Oh my god. I open up my fortune cookie and it says, "It is the hopes and dreams we have that make us great." VTubers have a lot of hopes and dreams, but we ended up here.
Oh, that last one's too real.
Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome on in. Welcome on in, everybody. How is everybody doing today on this fine Tuesday? I am joined today in a interview style, I guess more podcast style, collab with Tom Atlas. It's just Urkel and X Scorpling X technically is your Twitch. Technically. Hello and happy Pride, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hi, Sarah. Also, hi, Nixie, and hi, Fufu. Welcome on in. Thank you for the raids. Hello, hello.
Good evening.
Hi,
real
friends.
quick, let's go around the circle. Let's do really quick introductions for everybody. Hi, everybody. My name is Zumi. I am a transverted streamer. Owner proprietor of the Nest here on Twitch. Currently also streaming to YouTube. I'm not streaming to TikTok or vertical YouTube today because fitting 4 people on the screen would be a little bit crazy. To my right here, Urkel, if you want to introduce yourself.
What's up? I'm Urkel, or it's just Urkel. I play all kinds of stuff, but a lot of tabletop games, and then just a lot of party games with the homies and my wife. I am also been a musician for about 15 years and currently manage 2 VTubers, Sumi being one of them. And yeah, I think that's the most about me.
Next, bottom right, we have Scorpy.
Hello, I'm your new favorite dead cat girl on the internet. I'm Scorpling X. You can find me doing a variety of things. Lately, has been very much a lot of COD. I'm sorry. I'm shameful. I'm sorry.
Oh, 1 second.
Hey,
The raider in the middle.
Yuriko!
Another raid. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Yuriko.
Hi,
Hello,
Raiders. Hello,
everyone.
Yuriko. Welcome on in. Hello, hello.
Yuri is short raid. Oh, that's cruel.
That's mean. Poor Yuri. Yuri
Fucking
didn't ask to be short. She's still short, though.
got
She
him.
didn't ask to be.
Got him.
How was Gale of Darkness? What is Gale of Darkness? I don't even know what that is.
That
Looks like
is
Pokemon.
a Pokemon spin-off game.
Huh.
A
Okay.
very niche one.
Like an official one, or like a
Yeah. It's like it's
Okay.
one of the few like 3D titles that Pokemon ever put out back in like the GameCube era. It's like it's a sequel to the original to another Pokemon Coliseum game.
Huh.
Gotcha.
Very nice animations in that one.
Scorp, if you wanna restart your intro.
Hello, I'm your new favorite dead cat. I play a variety of games on X Scorpling X at Twitch and TikTok and very rarely YouTube. I play a lot of variety games. Lately it's been Snacko and COD, mostly COD. I'm sorry, I'm a degenerate. I should hide it on my desk.
Dude.
And then below me we have Tom.
Hello, nice to meet you all. My name is Tom Atlas. I am a healer by trade, streamer by passion. I specialize in doing whatever the fuck I feel like and fumbling until I get to my destination, wherever that may be. I do a lot of variety games, and I actually have this ongoing bit where my friends give me appointment suggestions for games that they want me to play, and then I play through them. And right now, I'm actually in the middle of doing Super Lesbian Animal RPG, which is a adorable little RPG Maker game suggested by wonderful friend of the show, Wakraya Elber on YouTube.
Oh shit! Okay.
That's such a good name for a game.
Well, oh boy, those lesbians sure can. Wait, sorry, those animals sure can lesbian.
What a tagline.
Well, I'll put it like this. You start up that game, and within like maybe 10 to 15 minutes, you see that the main character just has a Tumblr, and the first picture on it is her kissing her girlfriend. It's great.
Based. Hey, who's that?
Oh my
Who's
God.
that? Is the pretty bird lady next to me have to do an intro too?
Pretty bad. Sure.
Pretty bad.
Hi, anybody who's new here, my name is ZumiVT. I'm a trans variety streamer, owner of the Nest here on Twitch. I play a variety of games. Lately, I have been no-lifing Night Rain. Let me check my playtime on that game, actually. Why are you laughing?
Yuri's yelling at me because Aiko uses slurs.
Oh my god. In the short time Night Rain has been out, I have 71.6 hours played. Which is crazy.
Night Rain.
It's insane.
Born to be an executor, forced to be a guardian.
I do love the fact that
Hey, I love Guardian. Don't hate on Guardian.
Oh no, Guardian is very, very handsome. Love Guardian. I really want to do my parries.
I just use the shield. I just use the shield stance as a parry. It's fine.
It's really strong.
It is. But yeah, I do a variety of content. Through the years, I've done interviews. I do collabs a whole bunch. I have future plans for interviews for the remainder of the month. There's going to be, in addition to this one, there'll be 2 more in the group of charity, the charity group that all of us are a part of. Also, we have a couple members that are also in the group. We've got Fufu, Nixie, also that rated in. The 4 of us, Lavender Gardens, Verily Blue, all of them are in the chat. If you want to check out the pinned message at the top, if you want to help out, all of the proceeds of the charity that we are raising money towards go towards the Trevor Project. But it's for the entire month of Pride.
Yippee!
Yippee!
We are currently this is a fun little fact. Based on looking at the Trevor Project website, we are like the 9th highest fundraising team for this specific fundraising event. Granted, it's day 3 of Pride, and it's a Pride focused one, and it just started. We kind of started a couple of days early, but you know what? Nobody can take that title away from us in this exact second. For this
exact second, somebody drops $100.
Point in time.
Fuck.
So let's go around the circle real quick. I'm gonna start this one off. I'm gonna say, like, what does Pride mean for? Whoa, Tom! Holy shit, Tom!
Hey.
Yeah, first day of me actually doing the proper collab. I'm deciding I'm going to kick in some money to make it break an even 200.
Oh my god!
Let's
Let's
go.
fucking go.
Tom,
can't
you're
see
being a
them.
Chad?
Actually, then let's instead of me starting this one, I'm gonna make Tom, since Tom just dropped the 54. Let's go with, what are your pronouns? How do you identify? And what does Pride mean to you? This is probably going to be a little bit of a long one for each person, so let's try to give each other time to talk. Or if you've got questions about that, feel free to chime in.
Cool. Oh god, actually saying this live on a camera feels like a little odd. Little fluid with it, primarily he, him. Getting used to, like, the lived experience of it all. Very much like it's mostly from like an online perspective because most of my socialization is online these days. But I would like to go to like a proper event. I'd like to go to a proper like local community thing some point soon in the future. And for me, I view Pride as both an aspirational thing, a thing that I want to embody more in myself as a person that deals with a lot of like personal shame stuff occasionally here and there, so it goes. Went to Catholic school growing up, you know how that goes. But also it's how to put this? It's also like an aggressive statement of a right to exist to me. It's staring down the world and saying that we get to be here. Damn what everyone else says. A little bit like that, I guess.
Real.
Let's flip this to Scorpy. Meh.
Honestly, I didn't lean heavily into LGBTQ stuff till I met Sky, who is my roommate, who is also going to be doing interviews at some point later on. I think that's next week.
I think that one's on
Or
Sunday.
this weekend, actually. Anyways, you can talk more to her later. I wasn't fully into it, but I was a part of it for a long time. But I wasn't as in-depth as I am now. So Pride, honestly, is mainly friendship to me, because it's how I've met a lot of my friends. And it's about being more open. And being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I do simple. I am simple with it.
And Urkel, I'll flip to you.
Pride is super weird for me to interface with as a like cisgendered dude who is married to a woman. Even though I am pan, most of the time it just kind of feels like I made a post on Twitter that kind of summed it up, I thought, pretty well, which was that sometimes it feels like I'm a bench warmer for a team that just won the Super Bowl. Where it's like, technically I qualify, but also I never really had to experience any hardships or the negative aspect of it, or really just like anything involved in it at any point in my life. So I feel like, celebrating the homies, my close friends who are a part of Pride is what I usually end up doing for most of it. I just try to be fair and supportive and a good. It's weird because like I still feel like my goal is to be a good ally, even though I am part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew. Yeah. So it's a little confusing for me, but I know that it's a great time for me to show some love to all of my really close friends because it's like 90% of the people that I hang out with. So yeah.
So I go by she they pronouns. I am a transgender woman. I recently came out socially, not privately, but I did come out socially last year, almost a year ago actually. I started on HRT in July of last year. I was trying to time it so I started transitioning in Pride of last year, but I couldn't get an appointment fast enough. So July 1st was the actual day that I started. So close, but one day off. And for me, Pride, I mean, quite literally, I wear my colors on my model. I've always worn my flag as part of my identity for my model. It's always been a part of my personality. I mean, there's a pride flag right behind Tom. If Urkel slides a little bit, there's a transgender flag in the background. That one used to be that one used to be a non-binary flag, because when I first started streaming, I was out as non-binary. When I did start to stream, my old model even used the colors of the non-binary flag. It was purple, white, black, and then it also had elements of the yellow as well. And then I added in blue as the accent. And then when I started transitioning, the blue became a lighter shade of blue, the purple became the pink, and the yellow is still there. It's mostly used just as accent colors now. So it wasn't a huge major switch for color palette, but it is still very much a part of my design, very much a part of my personality. And my whole stance on Pride is, especially with everything going on, Pride is the time to be yourself. Don't be afraid to hide who you are. I know sometimes you need to survive, but also bear in mind that the first Pride started as a riot with a brick. So, take that as you will.
Throw bricks, kids. That's what we're getting from this.
That's
Throw
really
all
smart.
them bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I will say you mentioned like always wearing your flag and having the flag everywhere, and like being very proud and outward about it. And that's always been super interesting to me when I see people that do that, as somebody who's just kind of like, I have a flag, and I don't think, like, I think, like, unironically, like June 1st, I make a post with the flag out, and then I don't think I use it again until the next June 1st at this point, because it affects my life so minimally. And I guess that's kind of an interesting thing too, is like how much does your like identity like affect you, or like does that like Pride identity affect you? Because like it, in my everyday life, I will go like literal months without it being even vaguely brought up that I am not like a straight dude. So like Zumi, I guess, like how much does it affect your average life that you are part of the alphabet mafia, if you will?
So, side note, I've been googly-eyed.
I see that. Yes, I do,
Hi, Rosa.
Thank you. 2 in parentheses. That's funny.
So, I know I identify as trans, but my other flags, I am also pan and I'm also demi. Anybody who's curious what those mean, pan means you don't necessarily have a preference on what they are so much as who they are. It's kind of the best way of explaining it to people who don't really know. And then demisexual means that you need a emotional and trusting connection with somebody before you start to feel more romantically or even physically directly attracted to somebody specific. So in terms of like how it affects me, the trans part is going to affect me day in, day out, regardless if I want it to or not. I'm literally physically transitioning. I've been doing that now for 11 months. So like I said, I started in last July on the 1st. So June 1st marks 11 months for me. Which side note on that, I am switching over to injections from pills. I have an
Hey.
appointment next week for the actual training, for the injection training. So that's going to be starting next week, technically. In terms of like work-life balance, like IRL, it doesn't affect me much outside of my work just processed a name change for like our in-job chat. Like we use Teams at work. And then my email now shows my preferred name. But other than that, like people still treat me as I mean, I work in a very blue state, so people still treat me as a human. They don't treat me any different than I used to be. I mean, I'm still just me.
Mhm.
Other than that, like phone calls, I mean, I haven't started voice training yet, so phone calls I still answer with my old name. And I'll bring up here, for me personally, I don't really view this is unique to me from what I can tell for a lot of people. I don't view my old name as a dead name per se. Like I don't get upset when people use my dead name, because like for a couple different reasons. But I definitely do have a preferred and chosen name now.
Mhm.
But I still answer the phone with my old name because I don't sound like my new name, and there's a lot of harassment and stuff like that that it just kind of avoids over the phone. As far as the social aspect, a lot of the spaces that we are in, both on the streaming platform and like social media and stuff like that, having the flag visible and as part of your colors makes you a lot more identifiable by members of the same community. Connections, growth, and other things like that are more directly tied with that. I'm also well aware of the vulnerabilities that can come with that, but that also comes with being like protecting yourself and building up allies around you and having the team to deal with any sort of thing that might come from that.
That
That's valid.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Before certain realizations hit within the last year-ish, let's say, when I first started streaming, I just, because I have so many trans friends, I think like a majority trans friends, come to think of it now, I always streamed with like a little trans rights tag on my Twitch channel. I think I still do now. I actually haven't checked my tags in a while. And I remember that, like, I had this very weird interaction with someone where it was a person that had basically never watched me before that came in and, like, message one just immediately hit me with the, what about trans people in America don't have rights compared to everybody else? And I was like, okay, all right, buddy. I don't feel
Damn.
equipped to answer this question
Frame
yet.
one. Frame one is
And then I,
crazy.
like, yeah, and then I kind of like just directed them towards a bunch of like resources and like aimed the other friends of mine that were in chat and ready to pull the ban trigger on that guy just as a precaution measure. But he,
Get the gun.
whoever
Get
it
the
was,
gun.
took it in good faith eventually. But it was a very strange interaction.
Can I just say, like, real quick? I think if I could suggest one thing to all of you beautiful VTubers out there, maintain your own peace. Don't be afraid to just shoot chatters who come in that are fucking weird. Like, if they say some shit that's like vaguely weird or like off-putting to you, just ban them. There will be more. More will come. You don't need to keep the weird ones. You can let them go. I see way too often people being like, well, they didn't really break any of my rules, and like, technically they didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, no! If at any point somebody says something I don't like, I can ban them, because this is my space. And I can, at any point, you are subject to the will of God, and I will smite you at any given time. It's just, I feel like people let their Twitch chat get away with too much, and then it affects them negatively.
Yeah.
But the kingdom needs jesters. That's real.
True.
Part of the reason why I know Urkel mentioned that he is a manager for me. Part of the reason I did bring Urkel on as a manager is because of things like that. I know Blue has been phenomenal for that kind of thing too. Blue is a mod in chat. She's also really good at that. And just like I think part of it is also I'm a little bit older than a lot of the community. I don't want to say all, but a lot of the community, I have a little bit of a different view I've noticed than a lot of people do for that kind of stuff.
That's valid. Yeah, I feel like some people are just they're too worried about, you know, every person that comes into Twitch chat is a precious little bean that must be catered to and pampered to give them a perfect experience to keep them around so that Numby goes up. But some people aren't worth the Twitch stats they give you. Yeah.
Someone
Lot of
called Willa
efficiency.
Elder and they're gonna have words. I get called old all the fucking time.
Fucking. Nah, I won't be mean. I'll let
do you mean?
it slide for today.
You
It's pride. I
can-
can't be mean to you.
You can be mean. You can meme. When I was just about to say, as I'm sitting here with googly eyes. Here, hold on. Where's the button? Let chat meme you.
It's valid. It's very fair. Oh, big Zoomy.
Just waiting for the Attack on Titan theme.
It's just,
Oh my god.
Oh my god, how long has it been? Oh god, how long has it been?
It's-
Don't mind me, I'm old.
Man,
Painful,
I liked Attack on Titan. I thought it was okay. I think it dragged on a little bit at the end, but like I thought the rest of the show was fun. I thought it was fine. I thought
Is that
it
show
wasn't.
actually done.
Oh yeah, no, it's done.
Oh,
It's
God,
been
I
done for
thought-
a little bit now.
Yeah, I mean, like it wasn't anything special. I don't feel like it did anything super crazy, other than the fact that it was like. Other than the fact that the show would routinely look at you and go like, I don't care how much you like this character, they're fucking dead now. Which was kind of refreshing at the beginning, but by halfway through, I was just conditioned to not like care about any of the characters because I knew they would just explode at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all anime enjoyers? Do we like anime in this chat?
Freak about it.
Do we like
about it.
anime as all of us are half of us are anime women?
This is fair.
Ah!
What's an anime?
One of my
What's an
favorite
anime?
things to say is I'm a basic anime girl on the internet because I have a bunny suit.
That's valid. That's valid.
Metro
Okay,
bunny suit,
sometimes-
just waiting for chat to redeem the bunny outfit.
Look, sometimes like a peanut butter sandwich is just good. Like a peanut butter jelly sandwich is just good. A bunny suit's just good. A normal
Exactly.
pizza is just good.
That's based.
Fucking Urkel with the bunny outfit, I have to show it off.
Good.
Exactly.
Ooh, torn leggings, yes.
Yippee!
I do have the torn fishnets on most of the time.
A woog.
Oh,
A woog. Whamming.
Whammon.
You're in grabbing range of bottles to smash me with, so I'm going to say I'm looking respectfully.
There you go.
Not disrespectful. Throw that bottle at me.
I was gonna say, this
based.
this is an 18 plus stream, so
Oh man. Zumi, I'm kind of turning. Now I'm the one asking questions. I'm turning the mic on you,
that's
You-
fine.
you silly
This is-
bozo.
This is
You're-
this is the way I wanted it.
You're the proprietor of a alcohol selling establishment here. Yet I don't know if I've ever heard what your favorite alcoholic drink is. What's your go-to drink of choice?
You're all gonna hate me for this because people think I'm fucking nuts.
You're not gonna say truly, are you?
No.
Or White
Alcohol
Claw?
and whiskey, or whiskey and alcohol. No, Mountain Dew and whiskey.
Okay, I'm not offended. You're fine. I would be offended if you said Truly's.
Oh my god! Oh my
Wait,
god, Zumi! What?
Let me explain. So I had found out on a random fact because my ADHD brain absorbs random shit at random times.
Okay.
I can't help it. I found out one day that the original recipe for Mountain Dew was meant to be a mixer for whiskey. And I was like, I don't believe that. I'm going to try it. And I fucking loved it. The Mountain Dew completely masks the downside of whiskey. Get a really, 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 really cheap whiskey and add Mountain Dew to it.
There is no downside to whiskey if you just get decent whiskey.
Yeah, but you can spend less than half the price on a bottle of Mountain Dew and a really cheap bottle of whiskey.
Just buy a 2-liter of Coke. Oh my god. This is actual psychopathic behavior. I'm having a hard time not
I
knocking
can't
this
be
before
mean
because
because I do that too.
I can't believe you'd be mean about her drink choices on Pride Month. God.
It's pretty and green.
Immediately, I'm getting tossed in the chat for this take. Don't take shit from Urkel. He likes coleslaw. Urkel is rich. He only
Ugh.
likes fancy whiskey. Elite Urkel over here. Yes, I like coleslaw. Coleslaw is good. When I go to
Coleslaw is
Cane's, I don't swap out the coleslaw for an
I
extra
do.
piece of toast.
Although I usually swap mine for fries.
Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna yuck somebody's yum because all that means is that if I ever go to a Cane's for the first time and Urkel is just there, I'll just hand my coleslaw portion over to them and be like, okay, no more food waste. Sick.
Well,
You
it's
love
not
to
food
see
waste
it.
if you swap it.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe Urkel said he hates poor people live on stream. What the
God.
And
fuck?
then there's Cane's is so
Wait, what?
I'm not in it. I don't even know what Cane's is. Cane's is
I've never
regional
been to a
apparently.
Raising-
Cane's is chicken.
Raising Cane's. It's a glorious establishment that only sells chicken fingers.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and fries and bread and coleslaw.
The bread is
lemonade.
beautiful. I love the bread.
The bread is.
I will say there is one
Bland-ass
brand
chicken.
I will say there is one brand of chicken I refuse to go to, but it's because of their stance on LGBT. Chick-fil-A. I have never had Chick-fil-A and I never will have Chick-fil-A
We don't like the
because
Jesus chicken. It's fine.
they specifically are anti-LGBT.
Listen, Zumi. But Cane's is Post Malone chicken.
True.
It's not near me. I can't get
And it's-
Cane's where I
And
live.
it's delicious. and
Then
I
you
am-
should drive where I am because you're not super far.
I'm gonna blow up your chat with my mind, Zumi. I can't take this right now. Now, Zumi, you bring up a really good point there, and something I liked. I get in arguments with people sometimes about where you said you don't go to Chick-fil-A because of like the horrible shit that they support, which
Correct.
we've been knowing that. We are knowing that. Is there like where is the line that gets drawn, I guess, on when a thing gives too much money to something you don't like before you will like not give that place money anymore?
So I'm gonna take this. I don't think you meant it as a leading question, but I'm gonna use it as a leading question.
Okay.
There's a difference between. There definitely is a difference between, say, Chick-fil-A, right,
Mm,
and J.K. Rowling.
sure.
I know there's a stark difference between those. And for people who don't know the line, Chick-fil-A is just anti-LGBTQ. As far as I'm aware, they're not funding anything with the money they get from the proceeds.
They have in the past.
Okay. That is news to me. I have just been ignoring the company and I have nothing to do with it. I've already written them off personally, but I also don't advocate for other people to do it because I understand people have their own taste.
Mhm.
There is a difference when it comes to Harry Potter. I know Harry
Oh,
Potter
yeah.
is near and dear to
Even-
people's hearts, but J.K. Rowling very specifically takes all of the proceeds that she gets from her Harry Potter legacy, I'm specifically wording it that way because people remember the game that came out a year and a half ago. She takes all of the proceeds from Harry Potter and is actively funding bills in the government using that money for anti-trans and anti-LGBT and anti-gay things. And it's causing a lot of issues right now in the UK. I know a few people who are directly affected by that. And we've been saying in the LGBT community for a long time now that Hogwarts Legacy and Hogwarts is a fucking issue because of that. And people are now doing the shocked Pikachu face because of that. So there is a distinct difference between, I mean, maybe Chick-fil-A is a bad example, but like say, what was it? I think there was an issue with Coke recently, like six months to a year ago.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, there's like, businesses giving money to like countries we aren't super big fans of. All of that jazz. It's all. I'm always interested to see what people's opinion on that is, because I know it's very divisive.
I've heard repeatedly from people that there is no ethical consumption in capitalism.
Bars.
There is a line. There's no ethical consumption in capitalism in an open market. But when somebody is actively taking the money the proceeds from something and harming people, that like directly harming people, that's different. And they are being openly public about it. That's the other thing too.
Mm-hmm. I'm wildly doomer about this kind of stuff. When it comes to the J.K. Rowling thing, if you want to play the fucking Harry Potter video game so bad, just fucking pirate it. Sail the seven seas, steal that shit. Don't give them any money.
The way that I usually like settle out on this kind of thing is that for me, I consider books, video games, all of that kind of stuff for me luxury purchases. So when there's a company that I see that is doing shit that I happen to not like, say the way that EA has a tendency to horrifically abuse its workers, or everything to do with a lot of the worst parts of Ubisoft's upper management, I just say, all right, well, I'm just not going to play games from those particular companies. Same thing with when everything popped off with the Blizzard controversy, so on and so on and so forth. And thankfully there is a burgeoning ocean of indie developers out there that I feel at least a little bit more comfortable with. That basically mean that I have like I have so many games and so many stories and so many things I can experience where I'm not going to run into that problem, that I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through them all in my lifetime. And I think that's a pretty good problem to have.
Fair.
That's fair.
I'll bring this back to something that you mentioned. I'm going to draw a line to something that you talked about, Urkel. Game developers are like chatters. There will be more.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, if you for 99.9% of people, I think you could just look at at a problematic game dev and just be like, yeah, there's like a trillion other video games out there, and I think I'll pay. Oh shit. Who the fuck? What just...
Wait, it hasn't come up.
It hasn't come up? Did somebody just anonymously donate $200?
Holy shit.
What
Hello?
the fuck?
Oh, shit.
Okay, sure, sick. Thanks for that, I guess.
Holy shit.
Anonymous donator, thank you so much. Would you like to be a sugar mother or father?
Are you taking application?
Hi, I'd like to stop being trapped in a 2D still image. Help me, help me. I am stuck like this.
That's funny. Holy fuck. Thank you
Let me
so much,
see.
whoever just did that.
Let me see if it shows up in the list.
Mod, spray the blue cat. God dang it, Sap.
It does.
Does it?
It shows a name on the Tiltify page. I'm not gonna share it Just due to the fact that probably they would have included their name in it if they wanted to. But if you're currently watching this and not watching somebody else streaming from the collab group, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm just checking the other. It's
if you
weird.
look-
It showed up for Corby. It's showing their name on Corby's stream. That's crazy.
Huh.
Maybe it was
Are they
given
in
on
Corby's?
Corby's, and that's why it counted that.
I don't know,
Maybe, possibly.
but holy shit, BL3JIM. Thank you so much for the $200.
That's crazy.
Fucking legend. Holy shit.
Day 3. So wait, where do you see where we are on the standings then?
If
I'm
you go to the
assuming we're at
Trevor
least
Project's,
fifth.
if you go to the Trevor Project's website, for this campaign, you can see the standings.
Does it update in real time?
I don't know. We're also not on the list, so there's probably plenty of teams that aren't on the list somehow, but I don't know. It's weird.
Oh, it is. Jim is here. Hello. BL3 Jim. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the charity donation. Holy shit.
Yeah,
God.
God.
Stand for something.
Yeah, what's the lore? Give me the BL3 lore.
The BL3.
Let me see. 400 puts us at almost number 5.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah, we're currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're 7th place right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
By the
holy
beginning
shit.
of stream to now, though, we still jumped 2 slots.
Yeah. Absolute legend. Thank you so much. We'll let you chill if you don't want the attention, obviously. But thank you for donating to an incredible cause. We appreciate you.
Heck yeah.
What the fuck was I talking about before we reached halfway done with our goal on day 3 of Pride Month?
All I remember is coleslaw.
Yeah. I was talking about like the whole, like, we were talking about game developers and Harry Potter and shit like that.
The
and how
bad
it's-
people.
Yeah,
The
the
bad
bad
men.
folks. Yeah. So that's fair. I think there's a lot of shit out there. It's good to be an informed consumer, I believe, is the final decision there. Very important. A Twitch account lost access. I didn't know the password. New account. Named myself after Borderlands 3. Fair.
Oh.
This is good lore. God, I love Borderlands. I've beat all of the Borderlands games
Someone
so
put
many
googly
times.
eyes on a Borderlands 3 box.
It'll represent the $200 donation, homie, in the background. That's funny.
I have a fun thing that might lead to potential stories if you guys remember.
Sure.
Do you guys, if you're, I mean, you don't have to share. This is definitely a only share if you're comfortable. Is there a story behind what helped you realize like what you are? And I'm referring to your flags. So like Urkel would be pan, Scorpy. I know you support trans. I know you use they them pronouns. Does that mean non-binary or
I am non-binary, yes.
non-binary? And then Tom, the gender fluid. If each of you have stories, I'm curious to see if there are any stories for each of you. For like what was your moment just of, oh shit, this is what I am.
Yeah, I could start off if you guys if that's cool.
Yes, give me time
Sure,
to
go for it.
think.
Yeah, by all means, give.
I gotta
give
rub
some
the pennies in
thinking.
my brain together.
So originally I was bi, because I just remember when I was younger, I realized that I just thought dudes were hot, and so were girls, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I don't have like a specific story about that one. I just think it just was internalized. Like puberty hit, the vibes started being affected, and I was like, yeah, I just kind of like I like them both. I like both of them, and I'm cool with that. Both of these. I don't think I really like realized what that meant until I was like actually an adult. Like I think I was like bi when I was younger, and then just kind of like put that shit away at the time. Didn't really talk about it or think about it. And then once I finished high school, I was like, yeah, that's who I am. But it's funny, like, I think it was like 2 years ago, I was playing some games with some people, and I come from a super small rural town. I did not spend a lot of time on the internet other than to play Call of Duty, which is like the least likely place you would receive information about the LGBTQ community possible. And then I went to like a state college and started hanging out online with people, and like learning more about literally everything, whether it's like the LGBTQ community or like races in general. Like I'm just a good old white corn-fed farm boy from a small fucking podunk town, and I'm trying to learn shit at college and online with people that I know as much as I can. And I was just like in a call playing some games with some people, and it was during the Pride event for Valorant, of all things. They came out with like pride flag banners, and I was hanging out. I think it was with Rosa and Corby. I was like, "What the fuck is this one?" And it was the pansexual flag. And they're like, "That's the pan flag," and I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" Because all I know about being pansexual is people make jokes about fucking cast iron frying pans. That's the only thing I know about that. So please God, somebody teach me a little bit, make me less ignorant. And they're like, yeah, it just means like you don't really care what gender anybody is, and you're just kind of like attracted to people regardless of gender. And I'm like, isn't that just bisexual? And they're like, no, it's a little bit deeper than that. And like, there's more to it. And I was like, oh, okay, well that's probably what I am then, seeing as like I just kind of I'm attracted to just people. It doesn't really matter what the extenuating circumstances are around what makes that person a person. I could just feel attraction towards them. That's fine. I don't think there has to be anything to deal with gender with it. And they're like, yeah, homie, that means you're that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So my awakening was from a Valorant pride flag release in a Discord call with two of my homies.
I love that.
Yeah, just a terrible way to find out, honestly. But yeah, that's the.
Oh shit! There's a word for that.
Exactly. It was that. It was just like they explained it to me, and I was like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of based."
Self-care check for everybody.
Mm.
We've been
Yes.
going for almost an hour, by the way.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Which, because this is an interview style, when there is a warning from Willa, if you could give us a 5-minute warning, or actually Urkel, you should see it too, for ads. I do want to do a BRB screen for the 3-minute ads, so nobody misses out on any chats. So it'll be a
Gotcha.
chance to get up, get water, get snacks, stretch, use the bathroom, do whatever you need to. I've been googly-eyed again, my sap.
Not the googly eyes.
Is there a story from either of you yet, or I can also go if need be? I've just been doing a lot of yapping.
I don't think I really had a realization of being pan per se, because it's just I've always liked men and women. It's kind of package deal. Kind of like how Urkel was saying, it was just like that. You assume you're bi. Didn't really care if there was a term for it. Non-binary is more of a recent thing that I've come to realize because I kind of just associated with both genders, whether it is masc or femme. So it's just like, I don't know, I came to the realization when I started talking to more non-binary people and like hearing what they thought about things and how their emotions were towards things. I was like, oh, that's really similar. That's weird. And then it's just like, oh, okay, I guess I'm non-binary then. I just exist. I'm Dead Cat. That's all that matters.
Valid.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could go next. For me, in terms of like romantic and physical attraction, okay. So the first realization I had that I was probably not as on the straight and narrow as I probably thought I was fucking Makoto from Free. Watching that in like late high school, early college, and I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what it was, but it was specifically seeing that fucking twunk otter boy of a fucking anime dipshit pick up a little cat and play with it and be like, oh, look at this little guy, and he's like the sweetest dude you've ever seen. It's like, I see.
Base.
To be fair, Makoto built different though.
Yeah. The other thing, just so I can sneak this in before ads kick in, I'll try to make this quick.
We got 5 minutes.
You got 5 minutes.
Yeah. So the other realization that happened earlier this year, is okay. I don't know how familiar people are with this, but I played a certain little indie game called Mindwave. There's a demo for it out, and there's a character in it that goes by the name of Abby. And I proceeded to be fundamentally not normal about how much I loved that character design. And that character's whole vibe. She's like early 2000s flip phone Invader Zim, still uses glomp unironically kind of girl, right? And her aesthetic was something that I adored so deeply that I actually started like literally drawing her. I got like a sketchbook and started drawing her any second that I was able, from basically doing no art beforehand. That's how like deep the obsession had set in. And at some point, there was a friend of mine that friend of the show, Wakraya Elber. God, I love her. She is a trans VTuber that does mostly stuff on YouTube. She was from Spain. She who had been like making the egg jokes at me for the better part of like the 2 years since I'd known her, alongside all of my other friends, looked at me in the eye and said, "Hey, I want you to tell me something right now. If you could hit the button and no consequences, just turn physically into that character right this second, would you hit that button?" And my response was, do I also get to hot swap back and forth?
I love that.
And so I realized that, hey, yeah, okay, this is a new realization about myself I should probably process at some point.
I love that so much.
And here I am now, which is why occasionally there's another friend of the show, Jackie Myers, who will occasionally just call me Tabby. Because Tom, Abby, portmanteauing it. It's like Tabby Cat, it's nice.
That's cute.
That's fun. That is
Someone
really
needs
cute.
to get ears.
Real.
You must get the collar and the ears. You must do the sad cat dance.
I
Yes.
once went to
Required.
TwitchCon and I met up with a group of people there, and I like hung out at their Airbnb, and they had like collars just laying around as like a fashion accessory, and I thought, I'll try this
I don't think those are
on.
fashion.
I'll try this on for like a little bit.
Valid.
Hey,
Valid.
I look good,
Vase.
that's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly. Once you call her up, there's no going back.
As I'm sitting here with a collar on my model, it's fine.
Real? Real? It is a
Side eye.
50-50
It's totally not me.
We are currently a 50-50 split of collared and uncollared at this interview table.
Shoutouts to the girl that I met on a Disney cruise that I went to hang out with and was like, hey, let's go into a PetSmart. And I'm like, okay, right, she has animals. Obviously, this is a good idea. And she starts looking at collars, and I'm like, oh yeah, she has a pet dog. This makes sense. And then she leans over and then like pushes it against my neck at one point. And it's like, not your collar. And then we just keep walking. And I just decided not to process that day.
This
Oh,
motherfucker's
no.
living the dream!
Oh my god!
It should have been me!
I love that. Oh, I love that so much. Oh my god.
Oh man, I unfathomably missed.
right.
Have you
Real quick.
Okay.
We
Oh,
have
yeah,
30
the ads.
seconds until ads. 30 seconds until ads. I'm gonna call it here because I also gotta use the bathroom. We're gonna go to a quick BRB. We're not ending stream. It's just gonna be our BRB screen. I know for a fact my story is probably gonna be a little bit more involved because it goes back quite a while.
It's also
Well,
a little bit more in depth because trans versus non-binaries
Yeah, I have
Hands.
multiple moments.
and
so-
gender fluids.
We're
A little bit more in
yeah.
depth.
gonna go to a quick BRB. Please get up, stretch, get some food, use the bathroom, do whatever you need to do. We'll be here back in a little bit.
Yippee!
And get the music going again.
We return directly to your eye holes.
Directly. Oh my god.
Directly to the holes.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome back. We are back. Why is... Oh, because it's Sleep Token, and Sleep Token is a long intro for the song.
Sleep Token, good music though.
It is so good.
Did you guys
Sleep
see
Token
that?
has been my current addiction to music.
Did you guys see that fucking Anthony Fantano gave the newest Sleep Token album a 2?
What?
Yeah. I haven't watched his review of it yet, but I'm really interested to see what he has to say. Because I thought it was really good. I don't think it was as good as their last album, but I thought it was good.
So I know that y'all... It seemed like when I came back, y'all had a thing that you wanted to talk about on the stream and in the interview, but I also
Yeah,
wanted
you
to
got
talk
your
about
turn.
my story, my
No, no,
my
no,
little
yeah.
journey.
Yeah,
Yumi
tell
go
your story.
first.
Go forth.
Real-
So this goes back to a little bit of backstory. So I mentioned I'm trans. You know, big surprise with the pin in my hair plus the colors and everything like that, right? I didn't know that until like a year ago. So go back to high school. A little bit of backstory. I went to a Catholic all boys high school. And one of the things I came to a realization is it wasn't that I didn't fit in with the rest of the boys. It was like I wasn't interested in whatever they were interested in. I wasn't interested in football. I wasn't interested in or anything like that. I was involved with they called it campus ministry. They were involved in like more like the community events, like outreach events, stuff like that. Technically, there was a layer of religion on top of it, but I was more interested in like the community giving aspect of that. I was really involved with like we had events around the holidays. So we had an event during Christmas where people would bring in presents, and there was a big tree in one of the entrances for the school, and the event was to bury the tree in gifts. And it got like my senior year, there were so many donations that it also covered half of the floor in this area, which it was a massive area with this entranceway. Funny enough, going to a Catholic, the Catholic high school, ended up with me not wanting to be Catholic because the way that the school approached it, the school approached it with a world religion and an education standpoint where getting people educated enough to the point where they could make their own decisions on what they wanted to believe, how they wanted to believe, and make informed decisions. Because the people that do, after all of that, want to still be Catholic are going to be better informed with how it affects people around them. And they're also going to better understand the faith and the religion. And that was their standpoint on that. Coming out of that, I actually came out as agnostic. I still kind of am. But one of the biggest things that I also walked away from that I had vocalized to one of my best friends at the time in high school was, I hate the stereotype that a male has to fit into for society. I absolutely fucking despise it. It was, why is everybody concerned about getting married, having kids, and the next generation of kids? Why can't men show emotions? Why do men have to be the providers? It was a whole bunch of stuff that at the time really makes sense for what non-binary is. I didn't know of the existence of any of the pride flags at the time, but that's also part of going to a Catholic high school. You're not really exposed to that stuff because, not saying that they're opposed to each other, but they don't really introduce that kind of a thing in those kind of environments. Not saying I didn't have people of those communities in my high school, but they were actually surprisingly few and far between. coming out into high school, more involved in another group of friends that mostly stuck to themselves, but I commuted to college at the time. And I was part of a group of friends that hung out, and we would basically, like, I would show up first thing in the day for an early class, and I would stick around as late as I could before I would go home because I didn't want to have to drive back and forth. I wanted to be involved on campus, do whatever, but I didn't live on campus, so I would just show up basically first thing in the morning and stay as late as I could before going home. Ended up involved in the community, ended up learning a little bit of the LGBT community. But a lot of my experiences for that kind of a thing happened after. I think a lot of my education with that happened during COVID, when everybody was working remote, everybody was online, and everything like that. Learning about what the LGBT community was, learning how that matched what I had in my head for who I was, for how I identified, and everything like that. Which is wild because at this point, I was like 28, 29. Which for me, it's interesting having it's not really changing how I identify so much as applying something like a term to how I identified, and finally realizing like all of that. And I did some exploration back then. At the time I started painting my nails. I got my ears pierced, and I have been basically painting my nails. I have been doing that ever since. I switched from doing them myself to now I get them done at the nail salon. But that's been like basically 5 years counting now. And then the piercings, they're now gauges. I had some personal stuff I'm not really going to talk about. A lot of it was really, really negative. Involved past relationships, but basically also during COVID, I started exploring what non-binary meant to me and what the limits of that really kind of meant. And the part of the relationship was personal boundaries as far as what was okay in the relationship, what wasn't okay. And when all of that started clearing up, then it gave me the opportunity where I basically ended up living alone for a while, which gave me the full time to explore who I really was and what it really meant to me. I started reaching out to some of my friends, specifically Verily Blue in the chat, asking for resources, looking into different things, looking into different styles, looking into different clothing, and looking up a lot of the information for myself and to be better informed, and started exploring to what degree am I non-binary, and is this actually non-binary or am I trans?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't gone back. So
What? I couldn't tell.
Yeah. I do have my
other
days.
self? I thought they were in the trash can.
I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I do have my days where I'm sitting there going, is all of this worth it? And for people who sit there wondering, like, oh, they're totally faking it. Or they're totally doing it so they could disguise themselves or do whatever, and there's a whole lot of like bad intention behind it. People don't do this shit for fun. People don't do this shit to take advantage of themselves. I wake up in the morning sometimes sitting here going, this shit fucking sucks, and how do I undo this? Is this really worth it? Because some of the mornings, it really fucking sucks. Because like gender dysphoria absolutely fucking eats me alive certain days. But yeah, a little bit of a rant.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's your platform. You'll let a rant.
Yeah.
Is your
the
story,
space
after
to
all.
rant.
For real.
Also, I love the follow we got during that, which is let me solo the ladies.
Nice.
Brave
clean.
soul.
The best of luck.
If that's the right way to
Brave.
call
I
me,
eat shoes.
Blue, I am looking forward to Sunday when you're on here.
Hell yeah. I am also looking forward to Blue getting out here and fucking throwing some verbal hands. Sunday.
Yeah. For people who are curious, Sunday coming up, there's going to be round 2 of the interviews. It's going to be Verily Blue, Lavender Gardens, and then Gunslinger Sky. She did pop in the chat earlier.
I think she's
The
still lurking.
trans elder.
Yep, she's still
Um,
lurking.
hmm
Hell yeah.
You were all talking about a topic though when I came back, and I didn't quite catch it.
I was ranting about one of my shit.
What the
Hockey!
Oh, shit.
Hockey? Holy shit! Thank you for the
Put
10
the
gift
wallet
cards.
away
Holy
and put the
crap.
money towards the charity.
Yeah, this is holy. Like, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Holy shit! Like, thank you. But as a note, if you want to throw money at something, throw it at the pinned message in chat.
Okay, but we also have to support the person that's making the platform and putting the charity out there. So thank you for gifting
gotta
to me.
If we're
10
doing
gifted-
that, if we're doing that, do it to Urkel, because even though I came
No.
up with the idea, Urkel did a lot of the fucking legwork.
So like, Zumi came to me and she was like, "We need to plan something for Brian. Can you get me like a couple of people to like plan collabs with?" And I was like, "Yeah, how about I make a Discord and make it 14 people?" And she's like, "I don't. That seems like a lot." I'm like, "It's already done. You can't do anything about it. I hope you're ready.
Then
I hope you're ready
I,
for something ridiculous."
And then I accidentally stumbled into Zumi's Helldivers lobby during the Super Earth defense, and then I got the invite. I was like, "Oh, sure, I'll do this." Yeah.
I also
You
sent
know-
the invite also out to Vale, by the way, Tom. But Vale is really, really busy this month, so she turned it down.
It's fine.
You know, we could share a wholesome moment. We could share something very wholesome. You guys remember how you met Zumi VT? This wonderful burb that gave us the time of day today.
I
do.
distinctly remember how I met Scorpy.
I'm interested. How was that?
Scorpy debuted a brand new model on the day of my initial debut. So at the time we were debut siblings. And it's actually really fun. I think you rated me actually.
Yeah, I did. But it was by recommendation of Carrot, because I was hanging out with Carrot and playing Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And Carrot's like, "Hey, my buddy has the thing going on at the same time." And I'm like, "Bet, dude, bet." Instant raid.
Bet.
Carrot has been a long time friend of the channel.
Yeah.
Very, very busy lately. New kid and everything happening. Plus, I think he works overnight, and he's been doing that for years now. He'll pop in every once in a
Baby
while.
Carrot's a cutie patootie, though. We love
yeah?
Baby Carrot.
Love that. So I'm trying to remember technically when we first met. It was definitely through Rosa, because Zumi was like because Rosa was the only person that I knew getting into VTubing, and then she introduced me to my first VTuber friends, which were Solza and Nikki. And then you were doing something with somebody that she knew, and I don't know what it was, but I remember you being fucking funny. And then I came.
Wait, we just got another 100.
We absolutely did. Holy fuck!
Yo.
Are we unironically going to clear the first stage of the goal like tonight? Because that'd be really funny. That'd be really funny.
It's not a stage. That is the goal.
That's the whole goal for the month. Was 800.
If we crush it, then that's just stage 1 at that point.
Hockey,
You absolute
thank
legend, you bean.
Hockey, thank you so much for the money towards charity. Very much appreciate it.
I appreciate you bunches and bunches, homie. God damn.
Just make sure you're prepared to move my furniture, Hockey.
Damn,
Hockey's
throwing
helping
all
me
this-
move.
Hell yeah.
So
That's how you know you're the real homie.
So
Hell yeah.
a little bit of backstory for Urkel. I met Rosa through. At the time it wasn't, but turned out that they were a problematic streamer.
Oh yeah.
I'm
He
not.
who
I'm
shall
gonna,
not be named.
I'm gonna leave it at problematic streamer. I'm not gonna go into
Yeah.
detail. People who know
Yeah.
know. I don't even want to bring it up.
Yeah.
I was friends with Rosa. I think she was. I don't know if at the time when I met you we had made plans yet. But I was basically trying to like reach out, hang out with Rosa, stuff like that. And I think you had just kind of popped by randomly into one of my streams. And I think I was playing Darktide and I had an open slot and I was like, hey, you want to pop in and play because you were also playing.
Yeah,
And-
I can't remember if that was the first time we interacted. I think we might have played Fortnite once before that. Yeah, because
Maybe-
we met on a Fortnite stream. It was on Rose's stream when she was streaming Fortnite. You
Okay.
were in there playing Fortnite with her, along with some other folks. And then, like, a few weeks later, I was in your chat. You were talking about how you were getting a Darktide collab together. And that's also how I met Ludessa, who has been a wonderful game runner for a handful of tabletop games I have played. And she's great too. It's wild. Small
Also-
world and all that jazz.
Also, another person who's a wonderful tabletop runner, Lavender Gardens,
This is
runs a lot of games. Met her through Blue, actually. And I'm very involved in a number of her games, and every once in a while, Lav's just like, hey, we're running another game, you want to join? I'm like, okay.
You say every
Lab's
once in a
model is
while.
heckin' pretty.
I agree.
And be
You-
real, I've been nosy of everybody that's in the Alphabet Mafia doing the charity stuff. I'm nosy. I sneak into your streams. I peek in all your windows. Every heckin' pretty.
That's real. I like how you say every once in a while. Like Lav isn't like every 2 weeks coming up with some new tabletop shit that I have to begrudgingly say no to because I am in too many tabletop games at any given time.
I fucking adore tabletop stuff. Funnily enough, the art that you are seeing of me right now is an OC of mine that was in like a lot of general roleplay stuff that interacted really heavily with friends of mine that were writing Exalted characters, which got me horrifically addicted to Exalted. Exalted martial arts are the coolest to ever do it. Love me some single point. I'm a single point degenerate.
I actually have. I'm sorry. Is that a system?
So Exalted is a tabletop system that is heavily wuxia inspired, really like extreme high octane, high action, like peak of high fantasy kind of nonsense. A lot of it focuses on really powerful, like demigod tier characters. And there's like a really intense social mechanic system. There's really intense like combat mechanic systems. The thing that I like about it a lot is that I really like the way that its combat system handles initiative, where the initiative ladder is like a dynamically shifting thing that you either gain or lose by doing certain types of attacks, and then you cash in your initiative to do damage, and the more initiative you have, the more damage you do in your attack. So it's a little bit like the way they describe it is that it's like narrative combat where you're doing all of these like really interesting moves and you're like describing your attacks for stunts, which give you like little bonuses depending on how cool the description is. And like you're just barely missing each other. You're doing like intricate footwork until like that one decisive hit comes in and just crushes somebody, and it's so fucking cool. One of my favorite little things about it is that it's not just like the combat, the martial stuff that gets a lot of cool stuff about it. There's a lot of interesting abilities you get for even things like linguistics. One of my favorite little linguistics tricks that somebody can do at a high enough level is you can write a letter that is so uncontrollably impossible to understand that it deletes your ability to understand any language that you currently speak, and you generate a grammatically consistent fake language on the spot because of how confused that letter made that guy.
Fuck yeah.
I just got a hilarious emote from that hype train, which, by the way, holy shit, everyone. Or holy shit, thank you for that.
Big preach. Big.
This is the emote I just got.
I'm also let me see.
Mood.
That's my mood
Okay, that's pretty good.
24/7 though.
So funny enough, Tom, my VTuber design is actually also 100% a OC design from a tabletop game that I am currently still playing. That I just liked enough that I made it my VTuber design. It's from a Lancer campaign.
I
that
fucking
I'm in.
love Lancer.
Oh
I love
my
the
God,
gun that isn't a gun. Oh,
You talking about the fucking Annihilation Nexus, or like the one that's like imperceivable? I don't remember what it is, but either way, yeah, no, Lancer's probably my favorite tabletop system in general because I love mecha so much. It pleases my little brain. And there's enough like first party and third party content out there for it to really just let me grind and grind and grind and make character after character after character. And yeah, it's so good. I can't like it enough. Scorby, are you a tabletop gamer?
I was briefly part of a D&D campaign, but life got in the way, and I decided to step out of that.
So
and
real.
I very, very, very briefly played Vampire the Masquerade, but that was years ago.
all the darkness, my beloved.
Valid.
Hunter, the parenting's so fucking good.
Blue's Lancer brain rot was so good. It got her a girlfriend. It's so good.
That's imagine a tabletop game getting you a girlfriend. I love that. I love that. Just remember, lads, there's still hope.
I had my character in that campaign is actually kind of interesting. I created a reporter it's still in the future from now, obviously, but a reporter that was basically frozen and put into like a cryo sleep for years, basically from our timeline to the Lancer timeline, and then was woken up and had an NHP put in her brain. So there's a little bit of like DID in there and other things like that, where it's two personalities in one body type thing, dealing with that and stuff like that. Her name is Heidi, and I call her a woman out of time because her past is like almost 700 years in the past from the setting. So she's completely getting used to the new setting, completely getting used to a new crew. She just had an event happen to her where the NHP essentially ended up getting overloaded and overheated her nervous system to the point where she can't regulate her own body temperature. So now she relies on a suit and a mask to regulate her body temperature, and the personalities of the NHP and her have now essentially combined into one. So now they go by we, and they're both at the same time. They can't really separate anymore. So that's actually really interesting.
The Gestalt consciousness. I like that. That's cool.
Also, that campaign is
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I love that.
It is
Nudge, wink, wink. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
You're good. Talking about character designs too. I know, Scorpio, you were on here years and years ago. I say years and years. It was like 3 years ago. Since
ancient times.
Since Tom and Urkel talked about their design, how did you come up with your design?
Well, the current one is actually very Pride related. I actually changed it around when Sky came out as trans. And the pink and blue sleeve is actually to represent the trans community and how I support them. Because my roommate's trans and I heckin' love her. As well as I love my community. Because, ironically, as I've come to the whole Pride part of my community, we've gained a lot of LGBTQ plus members. And I just want to show support for all my community members, especially those with trans, because it is a little bit rougher on them. I'm gonna be real. So I do have that as an aspect of my design, but also I do a lot of PNG tubing, so I change my design frequently. But I'd still try to keep the pink, blue, black, because my original design was black. I try to keep the black as much as possible, but still brighten it up just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
My design, I know I've said this a couple times. I brought it. I tend to bring it up, or I used to bring it up a lot with the old interviews because people did talk about it a little bit. It started off with I started brainstorming ideas for like where I came from, where my background came from. Before COVID, I had 10 plus years in the aviation industry, and I'm not talking like I IRL. I have my pilot's license, but I am not a career pilot. I used to work as a ground crew. I worked in operations. I worked in scheduling for different companies. I'm not going to go into specifics. I don't want to dox myself. Some of the companies are very small and regional. But basically, I had 10 plus years in aviation experience. So that's where the theming of a bird comes from. Planes are also a very large portion of my upbringing. So that's where a lot of my interest came from. And then that combined with the non-binary aspect, that's where my colors came from originally. I kind of threw all that into a design, into a model, had some help from some artists putting some stuff together. The other thing too is at the time when I first came up with a design, one of the things I had realized is there weren't, at the time back, there was a huge explosion of VTubers back when COVID first started happening. At the time, there were a number of harpies that I was aware of, but there wasn't very many male harpies.
Mm-mm.
As far as I was aware, I was one of only a few of them. There were male birds, and they had like bird forms or a lot more bird-like features, but ones that were legitimately just like harpies. My original design, a lot of the coloring came from, there's a specific type of bird. It's called the fairy wren. It has a very gorgeous blue and purple color. They're native to Australia. The bright colors, I actually love bright colors. That's a lot of where I got my colors from. And originally my name was Zemu Wren. That's also where the name came from. I had a name change because I wanted to make it a little bit more clear, make it more English name. And then I had a 2.0 design update. The artist and rigger now goes by Side Definition on Twitch. And I think they are also on Blue Sky and X. They did an amazing job with the design. And now that I have my new design in the works, with which Corby's working on, it is like I basically took what I had before, made it female, and the other thing I wanted to go for was more of a pinup look. So incorporating a lot of my old aspects into the new one with a lot of changes.
Hell yeah.
It has not been a cheap journey, I'll tell you that.
God, I'm staring down the barrel of like wanting to get my first proper like live 2D model at some point. And it's kind of funny, certain realizations that I had earlier this year that led to me having the personal identification that I do now, had a lot of friends of mine like all kind of whispering between each other like, hey, are they gonna have that realization yet, or are we gonna have to like tell them to hold off on their model until they learn a couple more things about themselves? Because that might dramatically change how they choose to self-identify with that model.
You could also
they
go
were
with
right.
customizable models as well.
That's so funny. Just
So-
like
So this
I could
model
just-
is... Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, no, I was just gonna say, that's so funny because I could just imagine the homies being like, you bring up like, hey, I'm gonna get a model, and they're like, maybe we do a little bit more like thinking about it before we send it. Like trying to
Yeah,
like.
let's get that. Let's get that
Delay
like boiled egg set up on that little like breakfast, that like little boiled egg presentation platter thingy. You just get a little hammer. Just get a little bit more fucking aggressive with it before they spend like $2,000.
That's so fucking funny.
So
Sorry, go
one
ahead.
of
Zumi.
the one of the biggest things I'm going to suggest when people jump into Live 2D, don't jump straight into a custom model. Get a customizable model first. Get a more generic one. Figure out what you want for design. Figure out a starting point. Get your feet wet. Get used to it. Get used to the program. Get used to what's going on. Get a design going. Make sure it's what you want before you go out and spend $2,000 to $3,000 or more, depending on what you're looking for. I know not all models are that expensive, but I throw that number out because it is a number I have paid now and am paying for future stuff personally for what it has cost me. My 2.0 did cost in the range of a total of about 2.5 total, and my new one is going to be costing me a little bit more than that. And then it's going to be another amount of money that's undecided yet because I'm still working on ideas for it. But it is what I want. I do this for fun. There's a reason I'm okay with doing all of that, basically.
Right. I got wildly. Sorry, go first.
I was gonna say this on the customizable model. This one is actually one of the more expensive customizable models I've seen. It's the Suika model that was around on Twitter. I do have it credited down below. This one was, I think, like just over. I think it was like $120 at the time.
I think it still is.
Which she's working on a 1.04 version of it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The model I'm using is also customizable. It's by Honey Kudzu. It was roughly $50, give or take, and they're, I think, working on more assets to where you can just cut the head off and put the head on asset bodies instead.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
There's another one I was looking at that that was circulating on Twitter. I've been following the artist for a while because they've been working on their customizable model for a while. Let me see. Who's the
seen
artist?
a couple customizables that have been circling that are male nowadays.
Yes.
Or mask presenting, which is actually really exciting because there hasn't been any for the mask side of the community. Which sucks.
That's what I'm kind of looking for, because I realized that like for I'm in that hell period where I want to have like, for me to feel like I'm fully presenting everything I want to be for this, I need to get two different models. I need to have like one mask presenting and more girl moding a little bit with it. The second one will be a little bit easier to find a good customizable model for, but the first one, I actually do have like a pretty strong design for them like in mind already. It's just I am a complexity whore. So there's
Tom,
a couple of things that I would want for it.
Tom, I just sent you an artist on Twitter. They have in their pen message a customizable model. If you want to go the route, I suggest stopping at that one first. The timing worked out where the Suika model was where I ended up going with this, and it cost enough where I didn't want to spend money on a second customizable model. But I had been watching this one for quite a while. This is probably where I was going to end up in the time until I get my custom model.
Oh, I like this one.
Yeah, I'm going to send this one to Scorpy too, because I know you were potentially interested.
I collect things, and I have a whole folder for people just starting out.
Oh, nice. I got really comedically lucky with this model.
Ooh,
Money-wise.
cute though.
There was a person that was a mutual friend of a friend who doesn't usually do models and currently doesn't do models, but has like done them in the past, and I paid $100 for 40% body, I think is what I would say, because it's cut off at like my belly button. If you here, I'll reveal what's behind the curtain for a second. It goes down to
Gotta get this man the spider leg suit for his legs.
for real.
Well,
Get
to-
the
to-
ergot bottom.
Yeah.
To quote a very spirited man, by God Almighty, he is broken in half.
But yeah, I got really lucky. I paid $100 for this, and then the icing on the luck cake was a dear close friend of mine, the legend, the myth, the goat, Korbiaki, just straight up rigged this for me for free, because he's the goat. And that homie charges like hundreds of dollars for rigs to other people. So to this day, I feel horrible and feel like I took advantage of him, but he was just like, nah, you're the homie and I want you to have a model. And I'm like, oh God, my heart. And before that, Rosa offered to learn how to use like whatever rigging software people use to rig things. I can't remember the name of it. Rosa offered to learn how to do that to rig the model after I paid for it. Which is wild. But yeah, no, I got stupidly lucky. And then the little chat pet on my head is actually also a model that I can swap to if I want to.
You're a little low to show the model, by the way.
A little low. Let me bring it up. How's that? There we go. She's great. That's Cucky. It's Cat Bucky. She's great. I love her. But yeah, that's a little about my thing. I'm also like super not picky about the design of my characters in general, which has also led me to saving a lot of money. Because it turns out if you don't really care how it turns out, as long as it vaguely looks like your character, and you don't ask for a bunch of revisions, shit usually gets like a little bit cheaper, which is pretty nice. But it's also led to this really funny issue now of every piece of art that I have of my character looks like noticeably different. Like my ref sheet does not look like my profile picture, does not look like my model, does not look like my banner, does not, just none of them look super similar at this point.
Yeah, I understand that feeling.
Which is a little rough, but other than that, it's fine. I think it's fun. So this is a question, if I could pose it to the homies to add to the discussion, so I could stop yapping. Because I'd be doing that too much. How meticulous are you guys with like your commissions? Do you like very specifically ask for a bunch of revisions and you need things to be like very specifically correct when it comes to art and things, or are you more kind of just like find a cool looking artist, throw money at them, be excited about the thing that comes back?
Totally.
It depends on the artist as well as depends on the aspects that we're talking about. Because like
That's right.
my ear wisps and my tail being transparent are my main issue point with artists.
Mm-hmm.
Because they try to make the entire ear transparent, and I'm like, no, the ear itself is solid, opaque, but the wispies are transparent.
Sure,
or they try to
okay.
make the wispies into the ear.
Oh, I see.
I think one of the cool things that I had done with my design is I spent a lot of time when, being meticulous when it came to the reference sheet, and when it came to getting the design updated. So getting all of the details, all of the little things like that, when it came to that, to get those specific. And the other thing too is it is stylistically pinup. So it is unique enough where I can throw that at artists and then I usually never have to make revisions. There are certain things I do ask for change, but usually I don't have to make very many tweaks at all, or ask for very many tweaks.
My current so the goofball that you're staring at right now, that is the flesh craft that I am currently stuck in, was a piece of art that I got like some number of years ago as a joke. And I thought, oh, this thing's funny and goofy and silly enough for me to make a PNG tuber out of it. But when it came to actually making like the real ref sheet for this character, for like the big design that I want to go with for the real model, let me make sure I get this artist's name right, because I love them so dearly for being so incredibly patient with me. It was Leafy. Hang on, let me show it. It was Leafy Mochi, Leafimochi, on VGen, and God love her, I bounced back and forth with them for the better part of like 5 months trying to get that design right. Because the problem is that as a character, when I originally made him, he was very like more low key in look. When I originally made him, he was kind of like the idea of I want to create a character that I would want to follow as like the main protagonist of a story. And that came with like certain design considerations, like trying to like experiment with how like a lot of anime tends to make certain characters that are protagonists a little bit on the more generic side. And then when I finally stared at the beginning parts of the ref sheet that I was working on with this artist with that in mind, I thought, shit, I'm kind of not in love with this as a VTubing model, because I kind of want it to be a little bit more maximalist. It's just as a matter of personal opinion for like where my taste is. So it took a lot of struggle on my part to like communicate what I wanted to put out there. A lot of bouncing back and forth with my other writing and artist friends that were a little bit better at like vocalizing what my soul was telling me to do than I could with my own brain. And God love them, I have a really fun ref sheet now that I'm really proud of.
I have a funny story about my ref sheet too. My ref sheet is actually, I got a uncolored sketch from a incredible artist that I found through Twitter, Jesus.
Twitty.
I found through Twitter, named Javi Roque is how I'm gonna guess it's pronounced. And their style is super sick, super like kind of dirty, sketchy line work. And just really awesome, cool looking proportions on their characters. Just a huge fan of their stuff. So I got an uncolored sketch from them. And then I was like, all right, this is going to be my VTuber design. How do I go about this? And I reached out to him and I was like, I was broke, completely broke at the time. So I was like, I need a reference sheet so that I can like get it to people so that I can get art, but I don't have enough money for a ref sheet right now. So I reached out to them and I was like, hey, weird question. Can you draw this character in the same pose again, but from the back? And then would you be okay with me coloring those pieces? And they were like, yeah, sure, dude. That's a little weird, but that's fine. So my reference sheet is 2 sketches that I paid for of the character in the same pose from the front and the back that I personally colored, and that is still to this day the ref sheet that I use for my model.
Hey, that DIY stuff works.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say, be careful. As general advice, be careful with that kind of thing, because not every artist is okay with that. That many artists are not.
That's why. Yeah, no, that's why. That's why I asked before I did it. Don't just assume that it's cool if you just like color, somebody else's art or whatever. I very much so made sure to clear it with the artist that I got it from.
On that note too, I know VTube Studio has a lot of functions in it for recoloring and customization. It is a courtesy to reach out to your artist just to check to make sure that they are okay with you doing that to a model that you have. I know technically you own it, but it is their work that is being shown off if you are altering it from what was originally given to you. It's kind of a point of contention there, because if you've got commercial rights and you have full ownership of the model, then yeah, you could do whatever you want with it. It's your design, it's your model. But if you're crediting the artist and you make it look terrible, then it can also look bad on them.
It's like a common courtesy kind of deal. It's just don't be a jerk about it.
Yeah. Because the other thing too is if you want like a permanent change for your model, some of the artists that I've talked to will be like, I'll do that for free. If you want your hair color changed, I'll do that for free. I want to make sure you're happy.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
Like, I work with Aiko all the time because Aiko knows me by now. I just give her an idea and she's like, okay, cool. 9 out of 10 times it'll come back and I'm just like, no fixes, it's done. But there's also the factor of I check with Aiko before I mess with any of her stuff, if there is anything that needs messed with.
I think
also-
the thing that's gonna... Oh, sorry, you go first.
I was gonna say, I also believe with working with the same artist repeatedly. In particular, if you find an artist that draws really, really well, or you like their art a lot, and you have the ability to go back to them repeatedly, it is worthwhile having them redraw your character if they've already had practice drawing it the first time. Because every time that they draw your character, every time that they draw your concept, they're going to get better and better, and details are going to get better and better. In particular, like for example, I knew a while ago I was going to go with Corby for the model, for everything like that. So I'm getting all my emotes done by Corby. I'm getting I got my ref sheet done by Corby. I've been getting art done by Corby. I do see the ads incoming. So we'll do the BRB again when that happens. But leading up to this, my test for not really a test, but my thing to reach out to Corby to make sure that we vibed well and that he could draw my design really well. So I was like, hey Corby, I'm gonna commission you for an art piece. Here's my idea. I didn't have a ref sheet at the time, and this ended up leading to the first one of the more finalized ideas of the concept, and then led to me getting the ref sheet done by Corby. Just to see how we vibed, to see how his style was, to see how things worked. And there was a little bit of back and forth at first, getting some of the designs down, and everything like that. I think you saw a good portion of that one, Urkel.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, me, Corby, and Urkel have, because Urkel, it does a lot of the managing, have a long-standing group chat with the three of us. When it comes to now it's mostly used for emotes, model updates, and other things like that. I go to Corby with a lot just because Corby draws me really, really well. But I do reach out to other artists. I was doing that when I first came out with the design because I was like, I want art of my character, and going to the same artist in a rapid amount of time isn't gonna just shotgun art out. So I just went out to like a whole bunch of different artists and just got a whole bunch of commissions done, knowing that it was going to be in different styles, knowing it was going to be slightly different designs. But it actually helped me figure out what I wanted faster, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to starting that grind to hunt down artists after I give that like custom model stuff a try. Funnily enough, Scorpling was so kind as to catapult a custom model that does masculine presenting VTubers that I just yeah, straight up forgot existed. That another friend of mine already linked to me like a month or two ago. I just forgot. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
I never really tried out the whole custom model route. I've never played around with one of those. I went straight from PNG to custom model, which was interesting.
Mhm.
This is actually
I've
my
kind of
second.
downgraded personally.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I went from 3D, then I briefly went live 2D with this one, and then 90% of the time now I'm just using PNG tubers.
that's valid.
I think that's
Sometimes
because the games you play don't agree with the models, right?
Not with customizables, at least, because the customizables are really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because it's having to keep all those assets loaded at once. I wonder if there's a way to like get one of those custom ones and then like export your particular like set of settings to make a lightweight version.
I've thought
You
about
would-
that, but I
you
don't
would have
exactly
to-
know how to do that. You'd have to contact the original artist, and at that rate, that artist's gonna get swamped with everybody wanting to do that,
Yeah.
as
You
well
were
as
saying
that kind of
something?
messes with the ownership of the original copy of the customizable, because
Yeah,
everybody would have
true.
the base files.
You were saying something, Urkel?
oh yeah. I was just gonna say this model is actually the second design I had, and before I had this one, my first design was actually literally just designed after a picture of IRL me, because when I got into VTubing, I wasn't actually super interested in VTubing at all. I was just interested in streaming. And at the time I lived in an apartment with my computer in a public like area of the house, so I couldn't use a webcam. And I was like, oh, I'll just be a fucking PNG tuber. That way I don't have to have my webcam on so that people can see like my roommates walking around doing shit. So the original design I had was literally just based off a picture of myself.
Real quick, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. We're on ads.
Ads
yeah.
are starting. I don't want people to miss discussion.
Nice.
So I am going to go to a BRB here. Ads are starting in just a second. We could continue that right when we get back. But remember, for the ads, I'm going to go to a BRB. People get up, stretch, use the bathroom, get some snacks, get some water, do whatever you need to do. We'll be back after the ads are back.
Okay.
What time?
Sounds good. I'll be right back.
I am also
Him ads be wanting to punk you.
Yeah, all right, we're coming back. Corby, hello, Raiders. Anybody who's new here, my name is ZumiVT, transfer streamer, owner, provider of the Nest here on Twitch. Currently also streaming to YouTube. Conducting a interview, which is more like a yapping session between us four. For the month of Pride, all four of us, to my right here, it's just Urkel. Bottom right, X Scorpling X. And below me, Tom Atlas. We are all part of a group of streamers called the Alphabet Mafia, raising money for the month of June for Pride Month for the Trevor Project. And we are currently at $500 out of the $800 goal, which is insane.
Yeah,
Sincerely, built different.
I won't lie. I was the one who picked out how much the donation goal would be. I had no idea what to choose. I didn't want to set it too low and make it seem like I didn't believe in us. I didn't want to set it too high and make it impossible. And now I'm realizing I might have set it just right or entirely too low. We
It's
shall
only
see.
the first week. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how things go, we could make this a reoccurring annual thing too, in which case we'll have a better idea as time goes on for what to set for goals.
That is true.
As well as it might just build up more year after year if it's a more frequent thing with the same people.
Right.
Especially if we add more people to it year after year.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have anything you were going to add to what you were talking about before the break, Urkel?
No, just I think it was interesting having a VTuber design that was just based off of a picture of me, and also not holding up the illusion of or like the whole immersion thing like at all. Like literally just like I think within like the first month of getting into VTubing, just like posting a picture of myself at like a concert I was at or something. Just like I guess the one thing I would say is it's always interesting to me when I see people talk about like anonymity and not like wanting anybody to know like their names for their safety and or like even like the state that they live in and stuff like that, which is completely fair. I don't judge anybody who does that, but it's just really interesting to me because first off, Urkel is my actual last name, and I've been like so publicly findable for my whole time on the internet. It's been interesting because like I was in a like touring band before I was like a VTuber, with like 10,000 views on Spotify and playing shows in front of like 1,000 people occasionally, not all the time, but occasionally we got some good gigs. So I've never been the type to I guess like hide my meat self behind the digital self, which has always been interesting to look at like how everybody else handles it. And I don't judge or think it's weird that anybody else wants to be anonymous. I mean, that's one of the cool parts about VTubing is that you can be. But it's been fun being a VTuber who's just like also just like I'm just me, kind of in general, if that makes sense.
I know.
So-
when I first learned about VTubing, one of the things that drew me to it was the fact that I could be anonymous, but also still be incredibly interactive with chat. Because before I was aware of VTubing, the only ways to really do that were to, I mean, I knew people had like PNGs that they would put up on the screen, but I didn't think anything was really super interactive. and then it was like use webcam or don't use anything at all, and I was like, okay. But now, especially with like what's going on in the environment, anybody who's a member of the LGBT community, especially the ones that have been targeted recently, VTubing is almost a way to protect yourself when you're putting yourself out in public. Anonymity is also a way to keep yourself safe in a way where you could be targeted, if that makes sense. You were saying, Tom, though?
Oh, yeah. So Urkel, you
Yeah.
talk about being in a band. What instruments do you play?
I in that band, wildly enough, you see, dude from rural Minnesota. That band was a 6-piece reggae band that I played trumpet in the horn line for, and also played hand drums, like aux percussion and shit like that, and did
Oh,
backing
that's
vocals.
cool.
Yeah. It was a great time. It was wild. It was 4 dudes who were really into reggae in college, and then 2 dudes who played trumpet and saxophone and were really into metal and were homies with those 4 guys who were really into reggae. I was like a metalhead that was like going to college originally to be a music teacher. And I played like trumpet and baritone and euphonium and shit like that. And there was a guy that played saxophone that I had met through that we were homies. And then we met these kind of 4 dudes from the music industry department, and they were starting a band, and we kind of all came together, and it was a wild combination of people, and it was a wonderful 4 years of my life with that group. But unfortunately, we had some band members that swapped out over time. Well, one band member that swapped over time, and another one that got a better deal from another touring band and left us to pursue that. Because he went from like barely scraping by to like actually making a livable wage off of music, which is what we all kind of dreamed for anyway. So I can't judge the guy.
Shit, everybody's got to eat.
Yeah. Also, Willa, yes, I have absolutely heard of Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad, and that band fucks something fierce. I fucking love Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad. We used to cover we covered Steady in that reggae band by them. That band is so good, so incredibly good. Them and John Brown's Body are probably 2 of my favorite like modern reggae groups. Yeah. Other than that, I play bass. I played bass in a bunch of cover bands in college for money, just to make enough. If I'm being real, I played bass in cover bands in college to pay for all of the alcohol that I drank, because people would give me free beer and I'd get free drink tickets at the bar if my band played. We'd usually get paid in drinks for the night, so you'd get like 4 dudes together to play some covers of some butt rock at the local bar on like a Tuesday night and get a bunch of free drinks, and it was a great time.
That's amazing. The real reason to learn music, just free music, free alcohol.
Real. That, and then, right now I mostly make just electronic music. I'm working on a drum and bass EP right now.
Oh, nice.
Rick's cousin was the music rep for both Giant. Holy fuck! Brick's cousin is one of the coolest people I've ever heard of. What a fucking legend. My goat. As well as the Green! Holy fuck!
Is this the same brick that we throw through windows?
Brick is Willow's husband. Fun story. When I first came back to streaming after my long break, so last year I went on break, around March? Right? Over a year ago now. And I was on a break from March until about November. When I came back, I started one of the games I was playing because during that break, I hung out with there was 3 people in addition to myself. There was Blue, Urkel, Conrad. I was going through some pretty rough times, so I spent a lot of time with them. Not really much outside of that circle because, like I said, it was pretty rough at that time. And we really got into Helldivers because that had just come out in March, I think, or just before March. And so we were already playing that. I came back. I was continuing to play Helldivers when I came back, and Brick popped in one day when I was playing. I think I was doing like solo runs or something like that. And Brick was like, "I can hop in," and I was like, "Okay." And then Brick hopped in right at the beginning of stream. Random person dealt with using voice chat in game and listening to me on the live stream for comms, which was hilarious. Willa's sitting there in the background, and Willa has not missed a stream since. It has been absolutely wild. What do you go up to now? Like 82 streams, Willa? 82 stream streak?
That is actually wild.
Brick dealt with my ass for like 12 hours that day.
Man.
Yeah, that was during your fucking manic time of doing like 12-hour Helldivers streams like 3 times a week. That was an interesting time.
Speaking of, that has now been night rain for those last couple days.
Yep.
Hi, Lab is Blue. I know that all of us are involved in the charity this month, but is there anything that's like unrelated to the charity that each of you are working on or looking forward to, or plans or anything like that? Like this is the time to talk about like self-promoting things or other things like that. Like this is I know most people are like, oh yeah, don't self-promo in chat, and I do have a rule for that in my stream. However, I'm giving free reign to do like any self-promos, upcoming events, collabs, stream plans, other things like that. They're like for each of you.
Do you guys want to go first this time? I feel bad because I go first. I feel like I've went first every time she's asked a question. I don't want to jump on everything.
Scorp, I am grabbing you and pushing you in front.
Oh shit.
I bet it's not really streaming related, but am moving into first house, so that's pretty cool.
That's exciting.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, and then at the end of the month, this is actually streaming related, I am going to be doing preemptive to birthday stuff, because unfortunately, my birthday's on a holiday, so I'm going to have a full week of birthday before the birthday, so I just hype up till the birthday, just full week, just party.
Hell yeah.
Because my birthday on Mercaday.
Mercaday.
And I'll be releasing a new PNG tuber by Aiko, because we all love and support Aiko. Aiko is a bean and does almost every single one of my PNG tubers, and I have a problem.
Hell
Which
yeah.
that art you sent me, the work in progress, is fucking scrumptious.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, those thighs. Holy shit.
Am I allowed to bug you to get a shout out for Aiko? Finger poke, finger poke. It's just that waifu plug.
Hell yeah.
Is there an underscore or anything?
No.
Was that WAIFU? Oh, there they are. Speaking of Aiko.
Not me mentioning it
Aiko.
in the DMs to Aiko, and Aiko's like, I've never joined a stream so fast.
Waifu Plug is such a good username, actually. Holy shit, I like that a lot.
She makes the
Strong
waifus.
name.
Yeah, she's just the plug for the
She's like the
waifus.
crack dealer of waifus. If you want art of a waifu,
That's
she'll
so
do
nice.
it.
Hell yeah.
What
It's
if I'm
me.
looking for a
I'm the
waifu?
waifu that she does.
Hell yeah.
You heard thighs and was summoned. Aiko do be making them scrumptious thighs.
Appears.
That's the good shit.
Hell yeah.
Hi, Sky.
I suppose I'll stumble in next. As for what I got coming up, things are kind of 99, well, not 99. I'll say 90% of my streaming focus is on this charity event and making sure it runs well, because I am managing most of it, so I'm just trying to like make sure it runs smoothly. It's been a while since I've like been this chronically on my phone to do something other than watch TikTok and YouTube and message my friends. I'm just like constantly staring at the Discord, checking how all the charity streams are, looking at the Tiltify campaign, like trying to make everything work and schedule things.
It's going really well so far, I will say.
Yeah, we are 3 days in, and no one out of the 14 VTubers has gotten canceled.
Bet, let me get on Twitter. I can get myself canceled. I just gotta say some bad things on COD.
Oh, let me just add Elon right now. I can start something right now.
I can get on COD. I can do it.
Please no.
The panic in Urkel's voice.
Yeah. It will let me use my favorite reaction image that I've ever seen, though, which is Jack Black from the Minecraft movie with the caption Google Docky, which is now the only fair response to any VTuber drama that occurs is just that Jack Black gif. It kills me every time.
I've seen it not even involving VTubers. I've seen the actual tubers do it too.
Yeah, that shit kills me. But as for stuff I got coming up, I am also probably moving at the end of this month or midway through next month. So I get to manage all of this and also go through a move, which is going to be super good and definitely not going to be rough. But we're going to figure it out. It'll
More
be fine.
people moving.
Yeah. But other than that, I've got a bunch of stuff that I am doing for the other wonderful VTuber that I manage, which is Labadita Rosa. She's got a lot of stuff coming out that I am obviously helping out with, project managing for, and then working on some music stuff for her that will be coming out soon. As for myself, not a whole lot other than a drum and bass EP that will be out someday, TM. I've been working on this project for like 3 years, and I have like 5 songs. Because I've just been working on it in my free time, which I do not get an infinite amount of as a married man with a job and a part-time job on top of that. But yeah, that's what I got cooking.
And I keep
coming down the
bugging
pipe.
him for collabs and shit too, so
That is true. Any moment that I have to breathe that isn't taken up by my wife or other homies or something else is just instantly consumed by the black hole void that is Zumi's addiction to Helldivers and Night Rain right now.
listen, they're really fucking good, okay?
They are.
Ah.
My work wife. That's funny. All right, Tom, you're up. Throws you out front.
Well, I guess because I just snagged that customizable, I'm probably gonna face plant my way into a stream with a Live 2D model at some point. I guess that's gonna be a
Ooh.
thing.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Wakraya Elber, I am going to get in contact with her to get me a custom PNG tuber at some point so that I don't have the top part of my hair cut off anymore, because this is, again, a piece of art I ripped as a joke. What else? There is a very dear friend of mine, Anya VT, AN14VT, who's actually streaming her first run of Detroit Become Human right now. God help her. Who is going to be doing a playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV, starting from the Heavensward expansion next Wednesday with me. So that's going to be fun. I'm gonna be her stand-in paladin there to kind of guide things along, face roll through enemies, that kind of deal. That's gonna be fun. And is there anything else? I'm gonna keep going with SLRPG because boy, those animals sure can lesbian, and boy, that RPG really is super, very charming. And I'm probably gonna also be screaming my way through Deltarune chapters 3 and 4 for a little bit too.
Hell yeah.
I also am considering. Okay, so I have like this Fender. I have this like Mustang LT25 that I figured out how to rig up to my computer. And I'm considering doing a cover on guitar for a song from a band I really like called Mass of the Fermenting Dregs, which is an amazing band name still, by the way.
Yeah.
That's
Hell yeah.
awesome.
Japanese shoegaze kind of deal. Oh, that shit's good.
Ooh, okay.
I'm actually, you know, if I'll just like link one of their songs in this VC text chat thing for people to peek at some point if they feel like it.
You guys is definitely a genre that I don't know enough of, that I definitely want to learn more about.
This group in particular is great because, like, okay, the way I try to sell this to people that have never heard about this band before is that if we tried to make a spiritual successor sequel to Fooly Cooly, the original, without the Pillows, because the Pillows unfortunately broke up, I would grab this band as like the next up and comer and just slam them down to do the soundtrack, because it's just tonally it's perfect for that kind of thing. I love that so much.
Sure. Okay.
I actually got back into guitar mostly because of like a lot of Japanese like a lot of J-rock, just so much anime, so much game shit.
It is.
Bocchi the Rock is pretty much the reason I got like I used to have like a cheap as hell like $100 Epiphone that I got that came with an amp that I just I did most of my practice on for most of high school, and then Bocchi came out, and I thought, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna get an actual like decent guitar, and now I can play like at least a couple of songs from it, but not confident enough to record covers yet because I'm still not sure how to get the tone right.
Bocchi the Rock is such a good show.
Oh, I love her so much. I have like, okay, I have 1, 2, 3 different stickers of Kita from it, and one of them is a sticker of Bocchi and Kita practicing guitar together, like on my guitar. I love it so much. Oh, they're so cute. I grew up in that era of fucking Lucky Star, K-On!, like all of the big up-and-comer slice of life shows that kind of like defined the market for a while. So that was getting into Bocchi was like coming home to a friend in a way, tonally, but like they grew up a little bit.
Interesting. I haven't seen all of Bocchi the Rock, but I definitely liked the bit that I saw. I feel like at some point I'm gonna have to give it another shot or finish it.
The drunken bassist Hiroi Kikuri is a vice, and I want to indulge.
Fair enough. My My favorite music anime that I have seen recently is a little show called Given. That show is funny enough. I was hanging out with two of my buddies, and we were like, we need a new anime to watch while we're chilling together in the background. And I was like, I want to watch band anime. Let's watch this. I just clicked on it because the music was good and the characters seemed cool. Turns out it's a boys love anime. Had no idea that anime was incredibly gay.
Oh
That's
shit!
amazing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm in.
Just like out of nowhere, it was like we were watching a couple episodes, and it was like, man, the main character and his like guitarist are like getting really close. Like they're like really homies, and like one of them is like, God, he's like really twinky, and the other one is really not. This is. It'd be really funny if they like got together or something, and then like halfway through the show, we were like, "Oh, they are just actually gay. That's fucking okay. I'm here for it." It's just like suddenly boy love, and then suddenly just like all of them being like very, very like emotional about each other, and I was like, this isn't necessarily what I signed up for, but I'm definitely not bad. Like this is really good. And the music for it was excellent as well.
It was a fun surprise.
Yeah, fun little surprise. Love wins, yes.
What was it called again, Urkel?
Given is the name of the show. Yeah, Willie, if you like Fortunate Youth, I love them as well. We my band did a show. Their lead singer was on tour, just doing like an acoustic tour by himself. And we opened for him in the cities in Minnesota for him. It was fucking rad. It's probably the biggest musical artist I've ever met. That the Fortunate Youth's got like tens of millions of streams on Spotify. I was just drinking beers with their lead singer in the green room. Feels pretty cool.
I know.
Surprised to be sure, but a welcome one.
Yeah.
I know. Talking about upcoming plans.
Mm-hmm.
Urkel, you were mentioning 99% of your focus is on this charity. I think about 110% of my focus is on this charity right now.
That is valid.
Because I'm actively trying to plan events and collabs, and I know that Blue has some ideas for collabs, as well as some other things like that upcoming in the over the month. Just shouting out some of the things that are going to be happening over this next month. So less of a self promo and more of a group promo. I know we mentioned at the beginning of the stream. Sunday is going to be the second round of interviews. That's going to be with Riley Blue, Lavender Gardens, and Gunslinger Sky. And I am also currently planning, still trying to get a date settled on that one for a third round of interviews with it's going to be I always butcher the first name, Adesila Leone. I just call her Leone. Nixie and Fufu. Nixie and Fufu rated in right at the beginning of the stream. That one should be also really, really good. As far as streams, the back half of the month, or the middle, I should say the back half, the middle of the month, I do have work for a lot of those days. And then the sad thing is I do end the month working. I might see if I can't get the final day of June off of work, just so I can end the month literally on a stream rather than on a work day, rather than trying to be like, hey, it's July 1st, it's the end of Pride. So we'll see about that. The interviews are one of the things that I wanted to bring back for this. I think they're a lot of fun. People really enjoyed them years and years ago. People have apparently stuck around since the interview days, which is wild to me. Yeah,
That
no,
is- Sometimes I forget how long ago that was. We were talking about that in the chat.
yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised
Um,
it was like years. I was like, it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, looking back some of the clips from the interviews, they're now showing on Twitches. I think the one from Rosa still shows technically 2 years ago because it rounds.
Mhm.
Some of the interview clips show 3 years. So that's a way to tell you they're starting to hit that 3-year mark.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
It's been a hell of a journey though.
Mm. How long have you been streaming for?
So I debuted in March of 21. Was it 21 or 22? This past March was 3 years. So I'm what, 3 years, 3 months technically.
Mm.
And I think the way that Twitch sees it is April. I actually think April 1st is the way that it ended up, where it's like, here's your affiliate anniversary.
April Fools.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's a little while. Has it been 6? Oh my god, Lav! Holy crap! That is insane.
When the
Talk
when
about
the fuck did I start?
talk about time both not feeling like it's been that long, but also feeling like it's been longer.
The
Mhm.
passage of time is just strange freaking concept.
Wibbly
True.
wobbly, timey wimey.
I struggle with remembering how long Sky's lived with me, and she lives with me.
That's valid.
Actually, here's an interest. Well, actually, no. If I do follow age on my own channel, it's going to show the full age of the channel, which I've had this Twitch for quite a while.
Right. Probably obviously before you started streaming, you just had the account.
Oh
But
yeah, definitely.
it was a different name back then.
Fair.
So I've been following since your debut, so there you go.
3 years, 2 months, 14 days. That's crazy.
I'm beaten. Unfortunate.
I only started doing the streaming stuff like in serious earnest like last year, like last October or so. Mostly because I went to so I had like this brief manic period of I need to go to cons, I need to socialize, I need to be near people or else I will explode. So I went to like Anime NYC and then I jumped straight to TwitchCon. And there was something about the way that TwitchCon stratifies the difference between people that are like community, affiliate, and partner that while I was there, made me feel like that good pressure, like that need to like, hey, okay, I gotta like stop fucking making excuses. I gotta sit down and actually put the work in and do the real, like the grind of actually doing the streams. And God, I'm staring at the fact that I have like 118 followers. I cannot believe I got that many in like, how many months has it been? 7, like 5, 6, 7, like 7 to 8 months ish.
That's not bad. That's
That ain't
Yeah.
bad. I was not expecting to hit like I was not expecting to hit like even 50 before like March.
Mhm. I always find it interesting how much that brings up a good. I suppose if I'm going to answer my own question before I move anywhere else, I've been streaming for like 2.5 years, I think now, or
Has
something
it
like
been
that.
that long? I remember your debut.
It has been.
Holy crap!
Because I went to TwitchCon like a year after I started streaming, and I did not go to TwitchCon last year. I went to the TwitchCon the year before that. So honestly, it's probably almost closer to 3, but yeah, I've been streaming for Grip. Well, not really a Grip, but a bit. I took like a fucking 6-month hiatus, and I do it completely as a hobby, and I don't take it seriously whatsoever. I take the management aspect seriously, but I don't take my own streams personally. Seriously. This is just a casual, fun hobby that if it picks up and takes off, it picks up and takes off. Kind of vibe. I originally started streaming just so that me and as a fun way for me and my wife to spend more time together. When I first started streaming, I would only stream when she was available, and we would just play co-op games together on stream. Now I do all sorts of shit. But yeah, it used to just be a way for me and Jordan to spend time together. Which is we still do. We do like whatchamacallit, repo streams and stuff like that, which is fun.
Which you're talking about one for Thursday?
It's tentative. I still haven't. I didn't have. I woke up at like almost 6 p.m. today. So I didn't have time to talk about it with the wife, but it's a maybe. It's a maybe.
Here's a weird question. In answering your question with a weird question, at what point does not taking it seriously become taking it seriously for me? Because I like to think I don't take this seriously, yet I put in the legwork before I started streaming, like over 3 years ago. I put in like 6+ months of networking work before I even started streaming.
Yeah, no, you currently take streaming more seriously than a lot of people that. I'm gonna be really, really harsh for a second here, and I hope that's okay. I'm just gonna be like really bluntly honest. I think a lot of people that post on social media and drop like paragraph long tweets about like not succeeding as a VTuber regardless of how much time they put into it, aren't actually putting enough work into it to justify being as upset as they are. Like Zuby, you're putting in a lot of work into this, and if you want to call it a hobby, that's cool, but you could definitely call it more than that at this point in my at this point in my opinion. You're
Bashing, but to
hard.
add on to your thought process, a lot of the people complaining like that don't know how to talk well alone. So there's also that aspect as well of they don't know how to talk on camera. They just stay silent while playing game, and will only react if someone's in chat. So they don't talk even when there's no chat, which is usually what builds up a chat in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's not always the case. I do spend good periods of time when I'm solo not talking. I do try to vocalize like my thought process with certain things, but like look at my Nights Reign streams. Unless I'm playing with people and doing verbal callouts, a lot of my recent streams have been the content is the game.
That's different because you have the following built up already. I'm talking about people that are small that are complaining that they're not making it anywhere.
Yeah.
For me, I don't even think it comes to what they do on stream. I think it's the fact that like if again, this is gonna be me being like maybe a little bit too mean about it, maybe a little bit too honest, but like if you're trying to make streaming your job and you don't have like a full-time job that's like giving you money right now, say you like live with your parents or something like that, you don't have a lot of bills, and you only manage to stream like 2 times a week, I don't want to fucking hear it. Like if you don't have like work or obligations stopping you from like actively streaming, and you just like sit and just decide that like and you sit and make excuses for why you're not going to go live that day. Like, I don't really care to hear what your thoughts on like the state of VTubing are, or like why you're not growing or whatever, because like you're not trying. Like, this is a dream job for millions of people, and if you can't like muster the drive to like turn on your stream at the same time every like few days to like get an actual schedule going and like some kind of routine, you're not going to make it. Even if you have a TikTok clip that blows up and gets you 20,000 followers, you're going to burn out in 6 months and be nothing and go back to working at fucking Quick Trip. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, at some point, people have to be, like, honest with themselves. And I think there's a lot of, like, that not happening in the VTuber community. It's just, like, I see too many people that don't have the drive, they don't have the work ethic to be self-employed, and yet they sit around and they want that for themselves, and then they complain about it, and I just have zero sympathy for anybody who's, like, yapping about wanting this to be their dream and like everything they've always wanted, and then they refuse to put in like even like a part-time jobs level of work into it to make it happen. So that's, again, I'm sorry if that's a little aggressive, but I think people just need to start being honest with the people that are just like begging for a shot, because some people, it's not a question of whether you deserve it or not. You can work 100 hours, it doesn't mean you deserve. Oh fuck, my fucking alarm's going off. Shut off phone. It's not a question of like deserving it or anything like that. It's just like some people got it, some people don't. Some people have the work ethic, some people don't. And I think we should lie to people when it comes to that.
I know. I'm gonna continue my thought, but I'm gonna frame it with yours. So I know I've been putting in stupidly long streams these last couple days, but that's also partly because I've put in a lot of legwork, setting things up, doing the foundation. I know I was on break on the like hiatus from from this past. No, not this past, last March through November. But during that time, I was laying the foundation for coming back. And it took that long because I was dealing with some personal things, but it also took that long because I was getting that foundation set. Partly with building the Discord, rebuilding connections through people that were still around. And then even with like the stupidly long streams, like even though when the stream button stops, I don't stop connecting with people.
Right.
Even if I put in a 10-hour stream, when I wake up to the time that I go to bed, I'm on social media posting, I'm interacting, I'm still interacting with the Discord. I know a lot of that doesn't seem like work, but if you want to put effort in, if you can't edit clips yourself, I mean, then like putting effort into getting an editor, getting art done, getting content is required to be a content creator. And if like I know like if you can't have this, if you don't have the skills, it can be expensive. So the next thing to do is to learn the skills, and those are the types of things where that effort comes in. Learning to edit clips yourself, learning to do all of that. I'm lucky enough where I have a job that pays well. I'm going to be honest.
Mhm.
I have a full-time job that pays well. So I could sit here and go, I don't know how to edit. I don't know if I'm interested in learning how to edit because I'm busy. I would rather spend that time doing other types of content. So I'm going to throw money at someone else and have them do that stuff for me. I don't have the time or patience to learn to be better at art, to create art for myself. So I'm going to throw money at artists and support my art community, because in the long run, it's going to end up getting me more art, more content, yada, yada, yada.
Mhm.
And I know I kind of started the thought originally of like, when do I stop? When do I know I say I don't take it that serious. Like when does that line cross for me? Because I think I don't take it that seriously personally, because I fully understand that to get to a level of self-sustaining on just streaming alone, and I'm not talking like what do you call it? Sponsorships or anything like that. I'm talking just money earned from streaming or from engagement from YouTube or anything like that. It would be astronomical the amount of growth that I would need in order to maintain what the quality of life that I currently have. So I have almost no aspiration right now to try to live off of streaming, just because that is so out of where I see myself growing to, even over 5 years. Not saying that it won't happen, more saying I have a very realistic view on that. So this is a hobby. It's something I very much enjoy doing. I like the community. I like where things are going. I'm putting money into it not because I'm expecting to get money out of it. I'm getting other things out of it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I don't know. Would you guys? Because like I definitely feel like a hobby streamer for sure. Like I don't take it super seriously.
So I've been like on the 2 a week grind for a while, just because I have a full-time job. I also have like a tabletop I run for Pathfinder, and like I just I have like friend groups that I really do want to keep up with socially that are like not streamers and are not comfortable with the idea of our group Discord calls being put up onto a stream while I'm playing something. So I have like this these really specific set times, but usually when I'm in the mix of it, I'm going for like 5 or so hours a day for those two. And I think the biggest challenge for me has been summoning up the executive function to like actually get a lot of the other stuff that is expected of a streamer. I got the VOD channel set up recently. I've been throwing a couple of VODs onto that. I've been getting off my ass to go through my backlog of everything that I've been recording and finally process it through Handbrake to make them into proper MP4 files and then dumping those. But I've been hoping to find a consistent editor that I can like hurl videos at and be like, hey, can you like cut this down into a decent highlight reel for me? My big challenge is that I look at my content and people tell me that I am pretty people say that I'm kind of entertaining, but my self-perception is shot. So when I look at my videos, I'm like, I don't know if I'm actually that funny or interesting, or I don't know if there's really that many like highlight worthy moments that I could drag out of this if I were like me as the editor poking through my own VODs, which makes it like a challenge to figure out which ones I want to like contract someone to take a look at, because those are large files I have to send someone's way, and that's a lot of time that someone needs to spend to review my bullshit.
Tom, Lav and I do know an editor if you want to talk later.
Feel free to send me their socials at some point. I will happily get in contact with them.
Are you cool with Lav DMing you?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Lav, I think we're thinking of the same person. Minute and a half warning for ads, so. I had a thought. It went away. Someone about to, yeah, yep. Has voices in their head, yeah.
The thing that's gonna kill me is how much like support art I need, like banners, emotes, transition animations that I want to get, thumbnails. Oh god, thumbnails.
You can learn how to make thumbnails yourself. I promise. you literally just need Canva. That bitch is free. You don't even need the pro version. You can do
There's
it
a
yourself.
good-
I promise.
Pro version
Here's-
do be nice though, but
Pro
don't need
Canva
pro.
do be nice.
There's a
Yeah.
good friend of mine that she also does like VTubing that draws all of her thumbnails herself, and they all look incredible. And some part of me is like, oh, that looks so good. That's like explicitly exactly what I would want. I would want like a dedicated artist I could like hurl money at per video to just get a thumbnail ready for me. But that adds up fast.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. Yeah, if you're pumping out any kind of regular content, coming up with money for thumbnails is not going to be easy.
We
oh.
do have ads here in a second. I don't want to interrupt thoughts, but I would say save them for after the ads. We're gonna do another step away so people don't miss any sort of yapping content while the ads roll. We're gonna
Okay.
go to quick BRB again. Make sure to get up, stretch, get some water, get some food, take care of yourself, and we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Sounds good.
words.
Ah, we are back, everybody. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back.
Hello, hello.
Ah,
I didn't go anywhere. I was just sitting here staring at all of you in chat the whole time. You just didn't see me, but I was there watching.
what I stare.
Me the whole time.
This model doesn't blink because I don't need to.
Oh god.
You know what'd be even funnier is if I just did this,
Oh no!
staring at chat.
No, they can see that I don't have a lower half.
Ah,
Just bring the table to him.
the
Knock
table is
me
the
out
whole.
of the table.
The table is the whole size of the stream. Which I've had this set up for my stream for probably more than 2.5 years now, actually.
Oh, moistens his eyes with the tongue.
Oh my god. Just
Tom,
the
are you
frog,
listening?
like in a blink.
Well, okay, my whole deal is that I got like that weird freaky biomagic mutagenic shit. So I could theoretically do that. I just choose not to because it's rude.
I love it.
Ah.
What did we leave
All right.
off on? My brain funked.
Me too. What was the last thing we were talking about? Taking streaming seriously or something like that.
Oh,
I
right.
went on a bit of a me and Urko kind of went on a little bit of a long-winded rant about that.
I
I
mean,
on a tangent.
adding to that, I do stream full time because I don't exactly work. I am lucky enough to be a housewife, but
Very fair.
I still take it as a hobby because I don't want to take it seriously. I really don't, because that's just gonna make it not fun anymore. I would rather just keep it a hobby. I do make a little side cash here and there, but I don't make enough to consider it a job in the slightest. It's cool that I can write it off my taxes though, but
Real.
But when I was doing the prep work for this stream for the fundraising stuff, I thought, oh wait, am I gonna have to go to be a Twitch affiliate to get the fundraising linking set up properly and so on and so forth? And then I found out that no, it's just Tiltify, and I thought, ah, shit, yeah, I don't have to put in my financials into this yet and start running ads yet. Yeah. Because for some reason or another, I think it's because I'm just too small time for Twitch to notice to turn the switch on. But no one that watches me gets ads still. And because my community is entirely my friends who are very kind, and I thank all of you who show up every single day. I love you all. I appreciate you all so much for sticking with me with this weird ass journey I'm on. I don't feel ready to make my friends have to sit through ads, at least not yet.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna
I
I'm gonna be
actually was a
completely
little
honest on-
nosy, and I'm gonna poke a little bit. It doesn't look like you finished your paperwork for onboarding for affiliate because you don't have the channel points redeem button.
Yeah, no, I just never did it because I thought, I don't want to have to run ads yet, and then I just forgot.
That's
crazy.
valid.
Homie,
But-
you got over 100 followers. You couldn't. You don't have an affiliate. You know, dude. I suppose if you don't have emotes and you're not gonna do channel points, there's not really a reason to. That's crazy.
Yeah, because
to me.
I would have to get the emotes ready. I would want to figure out good redeems for the channel points that would be to me that I would find interesting to work with. And I have a decently paying full-time job that gives me wiggle room to go on vacation. So I don't feel the pressure to start making the side cash off of this yet. I have this really weird standard in my brain where I feel like I'm not gonna feel comfortable doing it until I have the live 2D setup or something, which is a bizarre standard to set for myself. But I am a person who imprisons himself in gulags of my own making, so you know how it is.
So with me streaming, I personally put any revenue I make towards the stream itself with new art, etc. Unless I actually need to cover something IRL, like I put a lot of money towards Anchor's car a couple months ago because it broke down the side of the highway.
Oh God.
But
I also
most
also
of the
have
stuff
a-
just goes straight back. Sorry.
I also have a weird take when it comes to the financial stuff. So, the first year and the second year of VTubing, I made enough money where I actually got a tax form from Twitch. Basically, there's a certain level of money that if you are below it, you don't get the form. If you are above it, you do get the form. And if you get that
Yeah.
form, you have to report it to the IRS at the end of the year when it comes to doing your taxes. This past year, so my third year, or I guess, I don't know if that... basically, this past tax season, I didn't have that form because I didn't make enough money, if that tells you how much I do make. People do know roughly what that number is. I made less than that.
I know
in
it
a year.
exactly.
So I didn't make that much money to get that form this past year. However, that doesn't prevent you from writing off all of your expenses as a self-employed business, which means that according to the business, I made not just zero money, I made negative money. When it comes to looping that into personal taxes as well, they give you credit on that to make up for it. I actually got a technically bigger tax return than I should have because of because of the written off expenses.
Huh. That is actually really fascinating.
I wrote off a lot of computer parts that technically I shouldn't have written off. They were
Hey, you know
they were
what?
Christmas gifts.
We're not gonna say that on camera.
That's fine.
Computer parts, any money spent towards commissions, art, any money spent towards games if you're streaming with them, any money spent on editors, any money spent buying programs that you use for all of that. You can save all the receipts, put all of that down as write-offs. You'd be surprised that even if you make a fair amount of money on streaming revenue, how much of it you'll be able to write off.
Yeah.
That's
There's a bunch of really neat tax stuff that you could do. That doesn't matter as much when you're not making much, but does matter later on.
Right.
Which is why it's good to learn it earlier rather than later. I think there's a lot of like business related stuff that it's really important to know in case you do eventually start making some notable amount of money with streaming that I feel like a lot of VTubers just don't know about. Which is where my services come in. If you're looking for a VTuber manager who went to college for entertainment business, don't hit me up because I already have 2 clients and that's enough. But I do
fair.
that.
Speaking of, I owe you money for this month, but still.
No, you know it's no rush, Shelby.
I know.
All good. But yeah. It's a complicated space though, honestly. Like the taxation in general is enough that people get specific people to take care of that, let alone like how taxation works if you set yourself, if it was an LLC, incorporating, getting domain names, getting custom like domain based email addresses so that when you work with sponsors you look more professional, and just so much of that copyright law is insane. Like
leading on to that, here's an interesting thought when it comes to people who are like, oh, I don't want to get that serious with the business side of things. Here's the thing. Taxes are there. Here's a weird take on this. Taxes suck. Everybody has to pay them, but corporations and companies get a lot of tax write-offs. If you do start taking that business side of things, even if you're not making that much money, when it comes to write-offs and things like that, with the amount of stuff that you can write off, Like, for instance, your streaming space, your room that you're in, the one that you have your computer sitting at, you can claim that space on your taxes as a write-off.
You legally cannot have a bed in it, though. It cannot be a sleeping space,
Correct.
but it has to be an actual, like, quotation marks office.
Mhm.
But yeah,
But,
you can. You can literally write off your electricity that you use in that office.
What I was getting at was take the same route that a lot of these corporations do for tax write-offs that they do to avoid a lot of the taxes. You can do the same tricks as a technically self-employed small business owner. And use your full ability to do that kind of stuff, because taxes really fucking suck, especially for streamers who are on the small side that make a little bit of money. I am going to use this Ericle's comment about the VTuber management to start getting into socials where people can get you, where people can find you in, so we can start beginning to wrap it up. Urkel, what are your socials, if you don't mind saying them out, and then potentially
Yeah.
also putting in the chat where people can find you?
It's just Urkel on just about everything that you could want to find me on. Luckily not super difficult to find. I believe it's the same on Blue Sky. Let me double check.
I think there's no underscores on Blue Sky.
Right, that's what it is. No underscores on Blue Sky. Also, a new little social, if you want to follow me on it. I don't think anybody will, but I'm getting into it. If you want to follow me on Letterboxd so that we can review movies and follow each other on there, and maybe, get into, discussions about what, cinema we like. Follow me on there, and it's just Urkel, because I've gotten really into using that lately. But yeah, just Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky. That's all.
Now I see where your
mainly use.
movie question came from yesterday.
Yeah, I've been watching so many movies lately. Northern Lion has had a inescapable effect on the future of my life.
Mm-hmm. Scorpy, what about your socials?
Every single social you can think of is at xscorplingx. Same as it is spelled on Twitch.
Hell yeah.
And
I make things
Tom,
simple.
Tom, what do you have
yeah,
for socials?
basically the same for me. It's just tomatlas.bsky.social or whatever for the Blue Sky thingy, and then it's my channel that you see linked in the chat right now, because those are the only two places I kind of actually viably exist. No one is allowed to know my Tumblr. No one is allowed to know my goddamn Tumblr. That is a me space. That is my private wall to throw spaghetti at. Damn you,
Guys, find the Tumblr IP. Just kidding. Don't actually, but find it.
Find it.
And
We
then
must
for
know what
anybody,
spaghetti is there.
and then for anybody who's new here, for me, that's gonna be my socials down there on the card. Urkel, part of his management services helped me set that up. Blue Sky is where I'm most active on. Discord's where you can find me on my days off when I'm not streaming, when I'm not working. If you want to join the community, if you want to interact outside of stream, that's the best place to go. There's two different YouTube channels, one where I throw the VODs on, and then also one that I'm currently streaming to. Also, eventually, when things are paid for with the model, with emotes and all that upcoming stuff, you'll start to see a lot more edited content coming up on that channel over time. And I also am on TikTok as well. I'm planning on hopefully this week or next week beginning to start looking into making some TikTok content for that kind of stuff upcoming, and all of that.
Hell
Wait,
yeah.
I just realized I also have a VOD channel that I made recently. Right. Thank you, Nikos. Thank you. I really appreciate you fucking reminding me. Am I allowed to post links in this chat, or will the Nightbot thingy nuke me out of existence?
I don't run Nightbot.
Okay, well, I'm rolling the dice on this one.
I think you should be able to.
Cool.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I post VODs there. Most recently, I have my complete playthrough of a game that is very near and dear to my heart. Very, very near and dear to my heart. In Stars and Time, which is probably contender for best RPG I've ever played.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna start looking for someone to raid. Urkel, do you know if anybody is currently live from the charity?
Survey says. It is not looking good, Chief.
No.
It's looking like a no.
There is one friend of mine that isn't associated with the charity that's still streaming right now, but I'll wait for you to cycle through your usual options first.
I was gonna say, because it's Pride, I do have somebody in particular in mind.
Mhm.
I just want to check something real quick to see what they are doing. Looks like they are working on emotes. Somebody I've been trying to hang out and chat a lot more with. They've been a friend of the channel since my previous design. Especially with it being Pride, I've been trying to show them a little bit of love this month as well. Rabbit Hound, if you guys are okay with me rating them.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're
And
You hold the keys to the channel.
do any of you have any closing thoughts before I get the raid launched?
In honor of Pride, I have to do it. Be gay, do crime.
you can't do crime.
Be gay, do crime.
Remember,
That's right.
folks, just because Pride Month comes to an end at the end of June doesn't mean it's the end of everything. We still have Wrath Month next month.
Yeah, Could it be Sloth Month after that so I could take a nap?
I know Gluttony Month usually gets assigned to like November,
Yeah,
so
whatever
it
Thanksgiving
can get
is.
slotted in somewhere. Oh, you know what? I slot Sloth Month in September because everybody's too lazy to go back to school.
Based.
You know the funny thing? I kind of want to do the Be Gay, Do Crime as the raid message. What do you all think?
Yeah,
sure.
I'm down to be gay and do crime.
Okay, let me get the raid started. And if you don't have my emotes, feel free to throw in whatever emotes you've got. But it's going to be Gay, Do Crime. If anybody wants extra channel points, feel free to go through with the raid. Let's show Rabbit some love. Reminder: Rabbit does use they them pronouns. Please respect that. And they are a very comfy streamer working on some art. And I hope everybody has a good rest of your day, rest of your night. I love you all. Thank you all for coming by. Tom, Urkel, Scorpy, this was a blast. I'm looking forward to interacting more through the rest of the month. And I hope everybody has a good rest of your night.
You kindly.
Why?
Thank you. Why?